Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Commodity interest trading is not appropriate for everyone. Displayed prices are based on real-time market sentiment. This event contract is offered by Robinhood Derivatives, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm. Exchange and regulatory fees apply. Learn more at robinhood.com/election.
You can listen to the play-by-play of the Chiefs and Bucks game with Mitch, Danon, and Kling right here on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan, KFMC FM and AM HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, and Odyssey Sports Station. Nobody in Kansas City has sports like 96.5 The Fan.
Right side throw, touchdown! Kansas City! A 3-yard touchdown pass in overtime! Kansas City wins the game!
Welcome into The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
Back-to-back best sports talk hosts as voted on in the Pitch magazine.
Live from the Fan Studios. Here's CDOT.
Let's do this. Another day, another dollar, another edition of The Drive. You are listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. My name is Carrington Harrison. Excited, thrilled, delighted to be here on this wonderful Wednesday. Let me give you the itinerary, the 411 on what we have planned for today's show. Over the course of the next 4 hours, I'm going to give you one thought, 1 minute on every team in the National Football League. So maybe you listen to this show and you are not a Chiefs fan and you're thinking, man, I wish Carrington would tell me what he thinks about the Carolina Panthers. I will do that over the course of the next 4 hours. We are also going to be joined by the quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes. His interview got pushed to Wednesday. The Chiefs play on Monday, so their schedule was a little bit different this week than it usually is, but Patrick Mahomes will be on the show. He will be on the show coming up in about an hour and a half. We got a lot to get into. I think today is the final day of the baseball season. We'll see if the Dodgers can go ahead and win this thing in 5 games. They almost got the sweep yesterday, but the Yankees win Game 4. There's one more game tonight in New York, and if Game 6 or Game 7 are necessary, they will be in Los Angeles, California. There is a lot to get into over the course of the next 4 hours. Again, we are appreciative of you tuning into the show today. All right, coming up, I think it is the midway point of the NFL season. It's kind of weird now. Back when it was 16 weeks, 16 games, I think we all knew where the midway point was. It's a little different, but we have just concluded week 8 of the NFL season. We are heading into week 9, so you know what? I am going to tell you what we have learned about the Chiefs so far through their first 7 games in the first 8 weeks of the season. But before I tell you that, I got to do this.
Pizza time on The Drive. Carrington, call me up right now. Call number 6, 913-586-7965. Call number 6 wins a pizza from our friends over at Pizza Tassio. Pizza Tassio is Kansas City's best New York-style pizza, and they have taken over the town. They lovingly use 100% whole milk mozzarella, all organic tomato sauce with locally grown fresh ingredients, all made by KC guys who both know and love pizza. They also have a killer selection of craft and local beers, plus unique wines. So, whether in the mood for a whole pie or just a slice or two, be sure to visit them now at pizzatasio.com. That's pizza, Tascio.com.
All right, I need you guys to do me a couple of favors. Number 1, I need you listening to The Drive each day at 2 o'clock right here on 96.5 The Fan. Number 2, I need you to tell one friend. I don't need you to tell 2 friends. Just tell one that if you want some of the best pizza in the city and you also believe that today is the end of the baseball season, the best place to talk about that is right here on 96.5 The Fan. All right, this is where I would like to start today's show. I wrote this down earlier today, and I'm happy to share it with you. We have concluded 7 games for the Kansas City Chiefs. We have just concluded week 8 of the NFL season. Let me tell you the 5 things that I think we have learned so far through the first half of the NFL season about your Kansas City Chiefs. Number 1, their defense might be even better than it was a season ago. I thought last year that the Chiefs had the best defense in the National Football League. I thought that you could argue that last year the Chiefs had the best unit in the National Football League. So if you took all 32 offenses and all 32 defenses and you did a draft, I think you can argue that the Chiefs were the best last season defensively. I can give you a lot of numbers that would suggest that they are better now than they were even at the end of last season. And we saw that defense slow down the NFL MVP in Lamar Jackson. We saw this defense go on the road and help beat Josh Allen in the second round of the postseason. We also saw this defense eliminate George Kittle from the Super Bowl, also eliminate Deebo Samuel, and beat the San Francisco 49ers and all of their weapons. Did you know if you took starting running backs in the National Football League so far against the Kansas City Chiefs in their first 7 games, and you added all of them up? So we're talking about some pretty good running backs here, right? Derrick Henry, who's probably going to be first-team All-Pro. We're talking about Bijan Robinson, who's a fantastic back. J.K. Dobbins, who's really good. Alvin Kamara, who looks like he could be an All-Pro back this season. Jordan Mason from the San Francisco 49ers. They have played some top backs so far this year. If you had all of those running backs and their numbers together, it is 92 carries for 242 yards. Teams that have tried to run the football against Kansas City, they don't. Their last 3 weeks, Alvin Kamara, 11 carries for 26 yards. Jordan Mason, 14 carries for 58 yards. Alexander Mattison, 14 carries, 15 yards. You do not run the football against the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, that might not have any value to Rob, but forcing teams to be one-dimensional is a major reason of how the Chiefs have become the best unit, the best defense in the National Football League. Their defense so far through the first 8 weeks of the season may be even better than their defense was last year, which leads me to the second thing that I think we've learned. We spent a lot of time debating on whether or not Chris Jones was worth the money. Now, I know that all of you are not going to walk to the front and say that I was not in favor of paying Chris Jones or I wanted the Chiefs to tag and trade him. No one is going to now admit that. But there was a lot of people who were on the fence 50-50 about giving Chris Jones the money. Hasn't he lived up to it? If you made a list right now of the top 5, top 10 defensive players in the National Football League, Chris Jones' name is near the top of that list. He is on the same list with TJ Watt. He is on the same list with Myles Garrett. He is on the same list with Aiden Hutchinson when he was healthy. Chris Jones is not just a good player in the league. He is also not just an elite player in the National Football League. He has become one of the absolute best players, regardless of position, in the National Football League. That is the level that he is on. That if you made who are the 22 best players at their position in the National Football League, Chris Jones is on that list. Starting, not a backup on that list. He is on the list. He is the list. So the biggest things that I think we've learned is their defense is a little bit better, and Chris Jones is worth every penny that we were debating about. Every guaranteed dollar, the holdout was worth it, all of those things. Whatever Chris Jones told us that he believed his value was, he not only said it, he has lived up to it. He didn't just talk the talk. He has walked the walk so far through the first 8 weeks of the season. I believe right now he is their best player. And that's no disrespect to Patrick Mahomes and what he's accomplished in his career. Travis Kelce, Trent McDuffie. They have a lot of great players on their team. Chris Jones has played from start to finish at the highest level on this team, and I don't really think that it is an arguable point based on what we've seen so far through the first 8 weeks of the season. So those are my 2 biggest things. Let's get to number 3 here. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. Think about the division. Do you guys feel any different about Denver than you felt? Do you guys feel any different about the Raiders than you felt? How about the Chargers? We can even take this outside of the AFC West. Do you feel any different about Buffalo, Baltimore, Houston? Good teams within their own right. But no one thinks that any of the other teams are going to win the AFC West. And even though we have seen 7-8 weeks, we've seen these teams, we've seen the Chiefs match up against these teams, none of these teams have proven to me that they are on the Chiefs level yet. Maybe that will change between now and the final 8-9 weeks of the regular season and heading into the postseason, but we are in the exact same place now that we were 2 months ago. Denver's, Chargers, Raiders, probably going to select another quarterback. Buffalo's a good team, but you don't feel like they're on Kansas City's level. Baltimore is a good team. Don't feel like they're on Kansas City's level. Same thing with Houston around the National Football League. Nothing has changed. There's things that have changed for a lot of other teams. You feel very different about Washington, very different about Minnesota. There's a handful of teams that have changed. You don't really feel any different about the Chiefs. They were the best coming into the season, and fast forward 8 weeks, they're still the best. And I'm not really sure if that gap between the Chiefs and the other teams in the league has really closed that much either, even in the face of all of the injuries, which leads me to number 4. This team has been the embodiment of next man up. There's no other team in the National Football League that if I told you you were going to lose your starting running back and you were going to replace that running back with the guy who was averaging 3.7 yards per carry, you are going to lose your number 1 and number 2 wide receiver, and you're going to win every game for the first 2 months of the season. You would have told me that I'm crazy. Baltimore wouldn't do that. Buffalo wouldn't do that. Detroit wouldn't do that. Whatever team that you think is good, there's no way that they could have handled the amount of injuries and attrition that the Chiefs have had and still maintain being undefeated. That is something that only the Chiefs would do. I would say over the last 30 years, there's only 2 teams that we think are even close to being capable of doing that. It's the Chiefs and the Patriots. That's not what the Colts could have done. That's not what Seattle could have done during their run. That's not what San Francisco. You pick any team that you think has been good over the last 25, 30 years. There are 2 teams that you think could deal with the amount of injuries and turnover that the Chiefs have been up to and able to stay the course the way that they have. It has been remarkable. It has been impressive to see the Chiefs continue to dominate this league in the face of all of the injuries that they have had over the course of the first 2 months of the season. And the last thing is, and maybe this is a negative thing, but I mean, I got to tell you what I learned. Their left tackle situation is a problem. We will find out how big of a problem it is as the games get more important. And maybe it is something that clears itself up with more reps, with more time. Wanye improves, Kingsley improves. But if I had to point to this roster right now, when I had to ask you, what do you think their weak link is? I don't think their weak link is wide receiver, even with the injuries. I don't think their weak link is corner with all the injuries that they have. Their weak link is left tackle. They are below average at left tackle. Now, you can manage it and you can scheme around it, and there is room for growth and improvement. But we talk about on this show a lot how there are some March and April problems. That's what left tackle is. And this year, they thought that Kingsley was them spending a pretty significant asset to address a problem on their roster. It just created more of a problem. You can't say that the Chiefs haven't spent any resources at left tackle. They have. They spent 2 top 100 picks on trying to fix this problem. Neither of them are the answer or have been the solution so far. And their right tackle, they spent a lot of money. He is still committing penalties at a pretty remarkable pace. So those are the top 5 things that I've learned so far. I'm curious about you guys, 913-586-7965. That's where I am. This defense might be even better than they were a season ago. Chris Jones has been worth every penny so far. Nothing has changed in the NFL or the AFC. This team has embodied next man up, and their left tackle situation is a problem. I'll read you guys' text coming up. What have you learned through the first 8 weeks of the season about the Chiefs? Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for K-State Athletics, 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
The nightmare stories are all too common with home services companies. Shoddy workmanship, subpar materials, or everyone's favorite, getting halfway done with the job and taking a 2-month break. So, if you need to replace your windows, siding, or doors, you could spend hours online researching companies. Or you can start with the perfect company and call Thermo King. With over 25 years selling and installing energy-efficient windows, James Hardy siding, and the most beautiful entry doors available, Thermo King will make your home project hassle-free and easy. Their triple glass replacement windows will save you money on your energy bills. Their James Hardy siding will last decades. And their entry doors will make your guests say, "Holy cow!" Right now, you can save thousands on replacement windows, siding, or a new entryway door. Great financing plans are available to make paying for your project easy. Get the process started today. 888-KING-WIN or online at thermokingwindows.com.
The IRS is ramping up collection, and if you owe back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, listen carefully. Before it's too late, check your eligibility for the Fresh Start program still offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax problems. Call our special hotline number now and find out in minutes if you qualify for these life-changing debt reduction programs. Business or personal, if you're in a payment plan with no end in sight, have unfiled tax returns, under audit, have a wage or bank levy, or finally just want to know your options, call the experts at Republic Tax Relief and stop collections immediately. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau with a 5-star rating from Yelp, this veteran-owned company has the fight you need to take on the IRS. Don't go at it alone. Call their hotline number now, 800-406-1794. That's 800-406-1794. Find out if you qualify today. Call 800-406-1794 or go to republictaxrelief.com.
Hi, it's Derek Johnson, and I know there's nothing better than being part of a team. A group of great people you can count on and learn from. The Sheet Metalworkers, local number 2, are growing their team and looking for quality men and women who want to build Kansas City's future. While you're making KC a better place, you'll also get great pay and benefits while gaining lifelong skills. Explore the possibilities at sheetmetal2.org. That's sheetmetal2.org. And take a step towards a fulfilling and rewarding way of life.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why when questions arise, there's Grainger. Grainger offers detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Because when it comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
What if you could hear your favorite song for the first time again? Introducing the all-new, reimagined Nissan Kicks. With an available Bose Personal Plus sound system that uses speakers in the headrest to create a 360-degree listening experience. You've never heard anything like this. Reimagine your music and your drive. Experience the all-new, reimagined Nissan Kicks for yourself at nissanusa.com today.
Available feature. Bose is a registered trademark of the Bose Corporation.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
You're in hot water, mister.
What'd I do?
I told you months ago our utility bills were getting higher because of that old outdated tank water heater.
Maybe it's time we finally switch to a Navien tankless.
Learn about Navient's high-efficiency tankless water heaters, endless hot water, all while helping you save on your energy costs.
Hey, look at this. Our utility bill is lower since we got the Navien tankless water heater.
Who's in hot water now?
We are, all the time.
Learn more at tanklessmadesimple.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Chiefs fans, it's Hollywood Brown. Welcome to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Welcome back into The Drive. My name is Carrington Harrison. Very happy to be here. I was going through the list that these are the 5 things that I've learned about the Chiefs so far through the first 2 months of the NFL season. The defense might be even better than we thought it was going to be. Chris Jones is worth the money, the division, the league. Nothing's really changed so far. Next man up has been really the mantra for this season. The Chiefs have been by far and away the best. of any team in the National Football League. And their left tackle position, someone on the text line says, CDOT, you're wrong about Jawan Taylor. He has played better, and he hasn't had a penalty in a couple of weeks. You're right. He has not had a penalty in 2 weeks. He is still third in the National Football League. He has 7 penalties. Wanya Morris has 4 penalties. That's by far and away the most on the team. He has given up 45 penalty yards, which is second in the National Football League. So you're right. A knock on wood. He has not committed a penalty the last week. He has 7 through their first 7 games. He has continued to be a problem on this team. Their tackles are an issue. The Chiefs, I would say, don't have too many issues that are not injury related. We talk about their wide receiver room, but it is a very cause and effect. Their wide receiver room is lacking because so many of their wide receivers are hurt. Rice is out. Juju is hurt. Hollywood Brown never played this season. Like, it is very understandable that they are having the wide receiver issues that they are having. When it comes to their offensive tackle, they've tried to address this. They have spent draft pick compensation on this. They have spent significant dollars on right tackle, and it has left a little bit to be desired. Someone on the text line asked, why were they not in on Cam Robinson? They were not in on Cam Robinson because of how much Cam Robinson costs. I think at this point, we kind of know what the Chiefs are and what they're not. I think we know what their budget is and what they're willing to spend money on. And Cam Robinson is not a player that they were willing to spend money on. Think about the trades that they've made, at least in season, over the course of the last couple of years. You usually get those players at a deal. I mean, Cam Robinson's cap hit this year was $17.7 million. And Jacksonville also is not willing to eat a substantial amount of money. If you're going to go trade for a starting left tackle, one who's 27 years old with the experience that Cam Robinson is, a team's also not doing you a solid and eating $3 million out of a $4 million deal. No, you think he's your starting left tackle, it's going to cost you a little bit. So you can give up less in draft pick compensation, sure, but you're going to eat a majority of this deal, or vice versa. Hey, we're happy to buy a little bit of this contract, but you're also going to have to give us a more significant pick. The Chiefs, I don't think, are in the business of doing that right now. Think about the deals that they have gotten over the course of the last couple of months. They're not willing to spend a lot. So if you're not willing to spend a lot, then you are not going to get a starting left tackle in the middle of the season, or really outside of the draft. You are not ever getting a great quality left tackle and really addressing that position. So once we see what Cam Robinson's cap hit was, and the fact that Jacksonville was not willing to eat a whole lot of money, and that Minnesota, who thinks they have a legitimate shot, they are willing to pay $10 million the rest of the season for their left tackle, that should answer the question of why they were not in on Cam Robinson.
Also, I know we don't look at the Vikings this way, but because Sam Darnold is their starter, they have the rookie quarterback, which helps the cap significantly. Like, I know Chiefs fans, I talked to someone on the text line as they were leading up to the deadline, and we've talked on the air. The Chiefs are not cash strapped. They're not up against the cap. They're not like the Saints that are battling the cap every year, But they are not a team that has a plethora of cap space. You know who does? The Panthers. You know who does? The Vikings. The types of teams that have rookie quarterbacks tend to have more cap space, just because that's the nature of the beast. So the Vikings, in a year they think, hey, we have a chance to be successful, can absorb more cap hit early and then get out on Robinson at the end of the year than the Chiefs can. Like, that's why they're running on Cam Robinson. They don't have the money to be in on Cam Robinson because they are paying other players, which is a good problem to have, but that's why at the deadline you don't get a starting left tackle.
Yeah, no, you're just not getting a starting left tackle. I also added this up, and it took me a long time to do it. I mean, between their left and right tackles so far this year, so if you add Wanye's penalties, you add Kingsley's penalties, and you add Jawan's penalties, they have 14 penalties that have directly come from 2 positions on the field. So that is just something that, in my opinion, there is not going to be a drastic fix for, at least in the season. And your best hope at improvement is just time and development, that you give Wanye with more reps, more opportunities, he continues to grow as a player. Or if you make the decision to go back to Kingsley Suamataia and now he is your starting left tackle, it is just going to be a learning curve. We're talking about with Wanye, we're still in the first 17 games of his NFL career in terms of on-the-field experience. Kingsley's obviously a rookie, so we're not close to where his 17 games are. you're pretty inexperienced right now at left tackle for the most part. I'd be willing to say, I haven't looked at every team in the National Football League. You are the most inexperienced of any of the contending teams at left tackle as well. That I think you kind of knew if the Chiefs were willing to roll the dice with a rookie left tackle the way that they were to kick off the season, or a guy in Wanye Morris who is a mid-round swing tackle, didn't start last year, there was going to be a little bit of a learning curve. We are in the middle of the learning curve, Rob, of what they have at left tackle.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a positive, if you want to view it that way, because the Chiefs are making it work because of their coaching staff is so good. Like, they are 7-0, their pillars, their foundation, they are still very good considering their left tackle issues. If you want to be glass half empty, it does not matter who has started left tackle has been a problem. I know Wanye has been better than Kingsley, but it wasn't like Wanye was some Willie Roaf type, especially over the weekend in Vegas. You could argue one of the reasons the Chiefs were backed up to the goal line on that play we talked about on the show that led to the goal line stand is because Wanye couldn't stop grabbing people because he was getting smoked on the line of scrimmage. So they are in a good spot because I feel like the coaching staff understands the situation and they are winning in spite of it, similar to how we talked about with their turnover differential. But it is an absolute problem and one that you hope they can continue to adjust and course correct, because if it looks as bad as it did Sunday against better players, it's possible they could get burned by that bad left tackle play.
We see this happen all the time in the draft at other sports, and I think we see this happen at quarterback more than any other position in the National Football League. Are you drafting the player or are you drafting the prospect and potential? Because those are two drastically different things. When you think to San Francisco and them going out to get Trey Lance didn't have a lot of football experience, so you were not drafting a guy who dominated college football. You were drafting measurables. You were drafting what you project him to turn out to be. We obviously see how much that failed for San Francisco. And then when you think about it, they drafted someone who had a very good college career in Brock Purdy, and he was able to come in, implement your offense, and the Niners have never looked back. I think we knew going into when the Colts drafted Anthony Richardson to be their starting quarterback, Anthony Richardson didn't have a lot of football experience. He didn't start a whole lot of games while he was at Florida. So you were drafting the measurables. You remember, Rob, there was the big graphic where from a physical standpoint, he was basically Cam Newton. Height was same, weight was the same, all of the drills, exercises. He was physically Cam Newton. Well, we saw Cam Newton play college football at Florida, also at Auburn. We also saw Anthony Richardson play college football in the SEC. They were not the same player. So the Colts spent a top 5 pick a lot on potential and growth and development. He is not growing the way that they anticipated him growing into. They have now sat him down for Joe Flacco. Here's the latest with Adam Schefter.
You know what the amazing part about this is this morning I got a call that this was happening. And I reached out to a couple of people to confirm, and I spoke to some people on other teams. And when I said, hey, my sense is that they're benching Anthony Richardson, the reaction I got from some very smart people was like, of course they're benching him. Like it wasn't even an option. Okay. I couldn't believe how strong people were. And so when I heard that, I'm like, okay, this is happening. This is happening. And, you're waiting for confirmation. They met as an organization this morning to go over it. They obviously broke up those meetings. My understanding is that they have informed each quarterback, and now the move has been made. And it's a seismic move on a lot of levels because you're benching the former 3rd overall pick, who now becomes the 2nd quarterback in that draft class to be benched, Bryce Young, number 1 overall pick, now Anthony Richardson.
The system failed Anthony Richardson. And I'm not even talking about the system solely of the Indianapolis Colts. Rob, this is not a trick question. How many pass attempts do you think that Anthony Richardson had while he was at Florida? He was there for 3 years. How many pass attempts do you think that he had while he was there? And I ask you that question because what we see happen is, and this is kind of what happens in the NBA, like so many of the things that we see in the NBA eventually happen in the NFL, that We have talked about this all the time in relation to certain college basketball players. Man, the more you stay in school and the more the scouts can pick apart your game and dissect your game, the worse it is for your NBA prowess. That inevitably they are going to find things that they dislike about your game. So somebody like Quinn Ewers, for example, we have seen Quinn Ewers throw 900 passes in college football. That's at this point. We think Texas is going to the college football playoff. We think they got a chance to win the national championship. We might have 1,100 passes to dissect from Quinn Ewers. Anthony Richardson threw 390 passes in 3 years at the University of Florida. He had 24 touchdown passes in 3 years and 15 interceptions. Anthony Richardson was a below average college quarterback that a team, because quarterback is the most important position on the field, they then felt, well, we have to take these measurables. We have to take this big swing. We also have to play this quarterback early on in the process. The way that we are developing quarterbacks in the National Football League is broken. Sure, it's going to work for some guys. Jaden Daniels started a lot of college football games at multiple universities. He started at LSU. He started at Arizona State. We had a lot of time to see Jaden Daniels start in the National Football League. Caleb Williams, he was a 3-year starter at a high level in college football. He started at Oklahoma. He started 2 years at USC. We saw a lot of Caleb Williams over 3 years of college football. Anthony Richardson, you definitely were not worthy of being a top 5 pick, but you smashed the combine. So you got picked in the top 5. We got to take a chance, because if we hit, think of the possibilities. He has a chance to be one of the best quarterbacks in the National Football Leagues. Well, this is the other side of it. He was never ready to play quarterback in the NFL. That was obvious. Now, Joe Flacco has his limitations, but Joe Flacco's also been doing this for a decade now. Joe Flacco was the quarterback during the New Orleans when the blackout happened, during the Beyonce concert. You know how long ago that was? He went against Colin Kaepernick in the Super Bowl. So it is not a surprise to anybody that Joe Flacco is better at playing quarterback in the NFL than Anthony Richardson. Look at the experience on one side and the inexperience on the other side. We are failing quarterbacks. It's not a shock to me that Trey Lance didn't work out. He threw less than 500 passes at a 1AA school, and now he's a top 5 pick in the draft. Anthony Richardson threw less than 400 passes at Florida and was just okay in doing that. He completed less than 55% of his passes. He threw for 3,000 yards and 24 touchdown passes, and a team spent the 3rd overall pick on that guy. I can only be so mad at the prospect where I got to be mad at the system that forces teams where they feel like they got to draft Anthony Richardson with the 3rd overall pick, because that was always going to fail.
It is, you mentioned the NBA comparison. He got drafted on potential. Every year in May or June, when the NBA draft is, me and you will talk a little bit of draft on the show. Hey, where do you think player X from a local school is going to get drafted? Late first round, early second. And the text line fills up with, how can you say that? He was productive at my local school. Oh, he's 22. Oh, okay, he's going to get drafted late. Well, this kid's going to get drafted in the lottery. He's 17 or he's 19. Yeah, he only scored 8.9 a game and came off the bench, but he's 19. Like that's what they love. That's what happened to Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson was toolsy and young. He had to play earlier this season where there was the longest in-air throw of the year. He's toolsy. Even at Florida, I forget what game it was, but it was against Utah. Early in the season, he ran around and made a play that looked very Mahomes against the Niners-ish. But that wasn't the, game in, game out product. That was a moment. But he was toolsy and he was young. So it was the NBA comparison exactly as you made it. If you are toolsy and you are young, they're going to take a risk on you. It's one, and we fall victim to it too. I make fun of Bo Nix all the time in the draft process because he's old. Brandon Whedon is an extreme example, but he was old. If you are young, you're basically new and out of the box. The NFL thinks I'm the first person to get to coach you. But sometimes box score stats matter a lot more than highlights. Not every time. There are definitely people who are toolsy and they put it together. But more times than not, what you see in college and not what you see on YouTube highlight clips is more the real.
Yeah, and I mean, to your point about Anthony Richardson and Bo Nix, I mean, I'm looking at the stats right here. Bo Nix threw 1,600 more passes in college football than Anthony Richardson. So it is not a surprise to me that Bo Nix appears to be a lot further ahead and ready for the National Football League. Patrick Mahomes at Texas Tech, he threw 1,000 more passes in college football than Anthony Richardson. That stuff matters. We talk about this so much in basketball. Well, you know, you got to try to get to the NBA as fast as you can and you can develop there better. There's no simulation for game experience. There's none. And I get it. You want to get to the bag. You want to try to get to the pros as quick as you can and make the money. If you're not a 2-year starter in college football, I don't know if I'm super interested in you starting on my NFL team. That stuff matters. There are very few examples in the National Football League that you just pop up out of nowhere. You have one good year of college football, and then you just go on to be a productive NFL starter. That's not how that works. We saw C.J. Stroud for 2 years. C.J. Stroud threw almost 900 passes at his time at Ohio State. Those are reps. That stuff matters. Football is unlike any of the other sports. There's only one way to get better at playing football. It's by playing football. It's not basketball. It's not baseball where you can simulate it and play in summer league or go overseas and do that. No, there's only 2 places to get better at playing football. College football, the NFL. And if you didn't play a lot at one of those levels, and now it's time for you to get better at the next level, I don't know how you progress. I don't know how you improve. I don't know how you get better in that situation. So here's the coach of the Indianapolis Colts. This is Shane Steichen, and here is him making the announcement that, Anthony Richardson, he's out of here.
All right, I'll start off just by, confirming Joe will be our quarterback going forward. Tough decision, but one I felt was in the best interest of our football team. Feel that Joe gives us the best chance to win right now. With that being said, not giving up on Anthony by any means, really not. He's a young player with a ton of talent, and he'll use this time to continue to develop and grow as a professional.
Shane, do you have the final say who starts at quarterback?
Yes, I do.
Was it your decision?
It was my decision, yes.
Can you explain maybe why you made it now versus, 9 days ago you said who started at quarterback?
I'm just looking at where we're at as a football team, sitting at 500 with a lot of football left. And just feel that, Joe gives us the best chance going forward.
I actually would agree. I think that the Colts' best chance of turning their season around and making the postseason is with Joe Flacco this year. From when I've watched the Colts, Anthony Richardson, it is just so hit or miss. It's all over the map. It is far deeper than one decision to take yourself out of the ball game. He's just not accurate. He doesn't do a lot of the little things correctly. I just don't think he's not a consistent NFL starter. And now where the expectations are higher than they've ever been before and the turnover is faster than it's ever been before, if you're Shane Steichen, I don't know if you have the time to sit around and let Anthony Richardson develop. If you lose football games, that's it. They fire you, and you're back to being the offensive coordinator of a random NFL team. So you kind of got to do what you got to do. And if you got to sacrifice Anthony Richardson to do it, then I don't know what else to tell you. Coming up in a little bit, I'm going to give you one thought on every team in the National Football League. We will start coming up on the other side. But I want to tell you guys a story about an underdog company that turned things around. This company was making $40 million a year in sales, which sounds pretty good, right? But people were kind of growing tired of their product. So you know what? They put their heads together and they came up with an idea. And their idea was gummy clusters. And did you know, Rob, that in 4 years, Nerds went from making $40 million a year to $500 million a year, and 95% of their sales are attached to the Nerd gummy clusters. I'm telling you this story today because Rob and I are usually on the same page. Rob is my brother. I love Rob dearly. He knows that. Rob came up to me today and said, "Hey, what do you think about those gummy clusters?" Like, I like them. They're good. They're tasty. They're the best new candy to hit the market in quite some time. Rob looked at me and said, overrated. Like, wait, what? Overrated. What are you talking about? They came in the game like LeBron in 2003. A great prospect just came through like LeBron and Carmelo in 2003, came into the league dominant from game one. Nah, overrated. I'm thinking about issuing a 1-game suspension for Rob, too. We've already suspended Joshua Briscoe. We're already suspended him. He's out of here. He's done. He said the Kit Kat was the best chocolate candy on the market yesterday. I can't subject you guys to those kind of takes, not on this show. There's only room for one terrible take person on this show, and I've filled that quote up. I have enough bad takes for me and Joshua Briscoe. He's on a 1-week suspension. Rob, you called nerd gummy clusters, they're overrated?
Overrated. Regular nerds are better. Okay. Give me that little nerd box. 2 big gulps, gone. Crunchy and perfect. A little hint of grape flavor. What more can you ask for? Sugar rush? I don't need to be chewing on nerds for an hour.
Text line 913-586-7965. I am thinking about, I don't know if we could suspend Rob for a full game. I'm down for a segment suspension. That's what I'm implementing right now. A 1-segment suspension for Rob Brenton, because it's getting out of control. It's getting flagrant. It's getting out of bounds. Ever since you got that promotion and they put a little new title on your desk, you've been walking around with your chest puffed out in a way that I don't like. And sometimes we have to be humbled. Maybe a 1-segment suspension will refocus you and give you renewed purpose and energy. You can come back and do better. Coming up on the other side, I'm going to give you guys one thought for every team in the NFL. We will tell you the first 2 divisions coming up. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
This man was a bona fide scrub.
On 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
If you're in need of a midweek boost, FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app, has you covered with the Hump Day Parlays Reward Stack. Now, every Wednesday, you can get parlay profit boost on everything from spreads, over-under, and even player props. So don't let the weekend have all the fun. Take advantage of the Hump Day Parlays Reward Stack. Who knows? It just may become your favorite day. Look out for the Hump Day Parlays Reward Stack in the FanDuel app to find all of your profit boosts. New to FanDuel, visit FanDuel.com/CDOT and use my promo code. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NBA and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Max wager amount applies. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit token boost. Restrictions apply, including token expiration. See terms for both offers at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Can help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Hey, it's Bob Fesco, and I'm here with my friend Brian Manning of Manning Roofing. And Brian, if I have friends with insurance claims, why would I recommend them to you at Manning Roofing?
Well, Bob, we're a one-stop shop for all trades, roofs, windows, siding, and gutters. We have licensed and insured subcontractors and a dedicated project manager that'll be on site to deal with your insurance company and make sure we submit all the documentation needed.
So do what we did and set up your appointment today at manninggc.com or give them a call at 816-448-8208. The choice is simple. It's Manning Roofing.
I love fall weather. The crisp air, the falling leaves, until someone in my family catches a chill outside. Luckily, Kohl's has deals on all things cozy. I got 20% off comfy layers and warm denim, $10 off because I spent over $50, and earned Kohl's Cash. Now we're ready to bundle up and get back out there, thanks to Kohl's. Select styles. Offers end November 3rd. Some exclusions apply. See store or kohls.com for details.
What's up, Kansas City? It's Mitchell Schwartz. You know, there's nothing easier to enjoy than watching the Chiefs with some wings and an ice-cold Bud Light. And Buffalo Wild Wings is serving up both for every game, all season long. Join me at the Buffalo Wild Wings located off 50 Highway and Chipman Road in Lee Summit on Friday, November 1st. I'll be there with the crew from 6 to 8 p.m. celebrating the back-to-back Super Bowl champs while eating some wings and drinking $5 Bud Lights. Nothing easier to enjoy than that. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. For more details, go to 965thefan.com. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
You've been waiting, and now is the time. Golden Oak Lending has fixed mortgage rates at 4.875%. But don't wait, this rate won't last forever. Call today and take advantage of our low 4.875 fixed rate. Call 913-890-GOLD. That's 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing, cured my blues.
5.784 APR, FHA, 15-year, 20% equity qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
It's time to review the top 3 highlights of the day. I'm joined as always by my co-anchor Snoop.
Hey, what up, though?
Snoop, number 1 has to be getting the new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence at T-Mobile.
Yeah, you should hustle down to T-Mobile like a dog chasing a squirrel chasing a nut.
Nice analogy, Snoop. Dogs do love to chase squirrels.
And squirrels love to chase those nuts.
On to highlight number 2, at T-Mobile, families can save 20% every month versus the other big guys.
That is very impressive. You know, y'all can take some of those savings and buy some Snoop merchandise.
That's exactly what I'm planning on doing with my savings, Snoop. Now, take it away, Snoop.
Head to T-Mobile.com and get the new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on them. Now drop that jingle.
24 monthly bill credits. Eligible trade-in on Go 5G Next. Well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 connection charge. Cancel entire account before receiving 24 bill credits, and credit stop and balance on required finance agreement too. Bill credits end if you pay off device early. See how you can save versus the other big guys at T-Mobile.com/switch. Apple Intelligence coming fall 2024.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Getting ready for more rain and longer nights? We've got you. Right now, you can earn up to $25 in bonus rewards when you buy 2 Sylvania Silver Star Ultra bulbs and 2 Rain-X Quantum Elite wiper blades. More rewards and better visibility at America's #1 lighting destination, AutoZone.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Offer valid for AutoZone Rewards members. Restrictions apply.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this: if something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
This afternoon, cloudy skies, showers, and likely thunderstorms with a high of 76.
Weather brought to you by Robert Half. Robert Half's recruiting professionals use their award-winning AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. Learn more at roberthalf.com/talent today.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 96.5 The Fan.
All right, welcome back into The Drive on 96.5 The Fan. My name is Carrington Harrison. We will play our conversation with Patrick Mahomes coming up in 30 minutes. In 30 minutes, you will hear the quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs. All right, so this is what I would like to do. The Chiefs took care of business against the Raiders. They don't play until Monday. This is a little bit different week than we usually have. So what I want to take the time to do today is I want to give you exactly 1 minute on every team in the National Football League. Now, we're not going to do this all in one big bite. You know what? We're going to break it up piece by piece. So in this segment, we are going to go through the AFC South and also the NFC South. I will only have 1 minute to spend on each of these teams. Some of these teams, I don't think I'm going to need a minute. All right, Rob, let's start in the AFC.
Let's start at the bottom of the AFC South with the Tennessee Titans, who are 1-6, Carrington. Their upcoming matchups are the New England Patriots, Los Angeles Chargers, and the Minnesota Vikings.
All right, let's start with the Tennessee Titans. Is this season going different than anybody thought that it was going to go? Tennessee decided to put all of their eggs in the Will Levis basket. Now, they tried to put a lot of pieces and parts around him coming into the season, but he's not a good enough cook to deal with those ingredients. You gave him the run game. You gave him some great options in the wide receiver game. This is a team that is terrible. They've regressed over the course of the last couple of weeks. Tennessee is going to be a team that is looking for a new quarterback at the start of the season, and they are a team that just they played quarterback roulette and they lost.
Don't need the whole minute on the Titans?
Not at all. I'm not here to waste my time or your time. Tennessee's not good. You know they're not good. They're terrible. They're not going anywhere. At this point, all they can do is play spoiler for Houston in the AFC South. Tennessee serves no other purpose. We will never watch Tennessee this year. I don't care where you live. I don't care what your favorite team is. Nobody wants to watch Tennessee.
Staying in the AFC South, third place in the AFC South, the Jaguars are 2-6. Their next 3 matchups are against the Eagles, Vikings, and Lions.
Have I not been telling you about Trevor Lawrence for the last 6 years? I've sat here right across from you and I've told you about Trevor Lawrence. They are broken at quarterback. Trevor Lawrence has been disappointing this season for the most part. This is a team that is going to have a hard reset at the end of the year. They are going to get a completely new coach, and they are probably going to need to invest a little bit more heavily in that offensive line than they have over the course of the last couple of years. I just didn't think that there was any reason to rush and go out and pay Trevor Lawrence. You could have waited a little bit. Sure, maybe you would have paid more, but you also would have got a little bit more information. Two things that have failed big time for them. That Christian Kirk contract is bad. Also, the Gabe Davis deal. They have just spent bad resources, and they got a bad product.
Heading to third place in the AFC South, the aforementioned Indianapolis Colts. They sit 4-4. Their next three matchups include two nationally televised games. Woof. Sunday Night Football this weekend against the Minnesota Vikings, then the Buffalo Bills before they play at New York against the Jets on Sunday Night Football.
Well, I think I speak for everybody. I think we all want that game against the Jets to be flexed. I am not interested in watching the two oldest starting quarterbacks in the league on Sunday Night Football. Please, NBC, please, Roger Goodell, do what the right thing is. I think that Indy had to do this in order to save their season. I do not think that Indianapolis could have made the postseason with Anthony Richardson as their starting quarterback. I do think they can make it with Joe Flacco. They have been a better team with Joe Flacco as their starting quarterback. And when you are heading into this stretch, so as you mentioned, they have the Vikings, Bills, Jets, and the Detroit Lions. That's a difficult stretch there. I think you lose all four of those games with Richardson. I think you can go 2-2 with Joe Flacco as your quarterback. You come out 6-6 on the other side in an AFC that feels like it's weak in the wild card ranks. I think the Colts still have a chance of being a postseason team. I don't think they can win their division, but they are very much in the conversation of grabbing one of those wild card spots.
Carrington, the final team in the AFC South, the division-leading Houston Texans. They sit at 6-2. Their next three matchups are Thursday Night Football against the aforementioned Jets, then Sunday Night Football against the Detroit Lions before playing on Monday Night Football against the Dallas Cowboys.
This Houston team has lived up to the expectation. I made the comparison at the very beginning of the year that they felt like this year's version of the Detroit Lions, and they have definitely lived up to that expectation. This is the Houston team that beat Chicago early in the year and also beat Buffalo earlier in the year, so they've got a couple of nice wins. Stroud has developed well. I got some questions about that offensive line, and the injuries are starting to pile up for them a little bit. You've lost Diggs for the remainder of the season. Nico Collins has dealt with an injury as well. He was maybe the best receiver in the league before his hamstring injury, and Tank Dell has really regressed this year. Can they get Nico Collins back healthy, and can they get Tank Dell playing at a high level again? If that's the case, Houston is dangerous. I think that Houston is a cut below the top teams in the AFC, but still very dangerous, still should be in the contender conversation.
All right, Carrington, let's pivot and head to the NFC South, which means we have to start with the Carolina Panthers. They sit at 1-7. Their next three games, they play the New Orleans Saints at home this weekend before heading to Munich to take on the Giants. We gave Munich Giants and Panthers. And then they play the Kansas City Chiefs at home after that. Carrington, the Carolina Panthers.
This is what I don't get. We now want to give London the Super Bowl when we don't even give them good regular season games. Like, why don't we take baby steps here? Why don't we take baby steps and we give them good regular season games, and then maybe we can evolve to eventually giving them the Super Bowl? There's only one point to make about Carolina. Draft another quarterback. That's it. I won't take up too much more time.
You only wasted 10, 15 seconds on the Panthers.
Draft a new quarterback. That's simple. I also would maybe possibly suggest selling the team and getting a new owner. I don't think they're going to do that, but their ownership group seems like it's the biggest problem that they have. You can change quarterbacks, kind of tough to change owners, especially when you haven't owned the team for 2 years.
Speeding up here, the New Orleans Saints are next. They are 2-6 in third place in the NFC South. Their next three games are against the aforementioned Panthers, then at home against the Falcons before facing the Cleveland Browns.
Are the Saints eventually going to rip the Band-Aid off? You know the Band-Aid that I'm talking about. The Saints have been trying to hold on and maybe be a playoff team and maybe win their division. They've got cap issues, and they also don't have a quarterback. The Saints just need to have a lean year and just start over. Eat some of that dead money, drop some of those players, players, trade Marshawn Lattimore, trade some of these other pieces, and eventually we talk about how the bill comes due with the salary cap. The Saints still don't want to pay the credit card off. Eventually, get your balance back to zero, get your account and money in order, and then move forward. The Saints have to do that. This is a lost year for them. They should be sellers at the deadline before next Tuesday's date, and they also need to, they've been trying to cut corners since Drew Brees retired. Go draft your quarterback.
Now on to third place in the NFC South. The Chiefs' opponent this upcoming week, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They are 4-4 and second in the NFC South. As I mentioned, they play the Chiefs on Monday night. Then at home against the Niners before their last game in this 3-game stretch is the New York Football Giants.
I think the question with Tampa Bay is, when are they going to get Mike Evans back? Because I think this is a team that is still pretty viable. And I know they're not getting Chris Godwin back, but could they be a team that's in the Darius Slayton conversation? Could they make a trade for him? Can they get Mike Evans back? I think you have a pretty good quarterback, but they've lost 3 of their last 4 games now. The injuries are really starting to pile up for them, and the schedule is not going to get any easier on the road against Kansas City, also against San Francisco. I still think they're in the conversation to be a wild card team, but the division conversation is close for them. They lost both of their games against Atlanta. I don't think they can win the NFC South anymore, but can they grab one of those spots? It's way more competitive in the NFC wild card picture than I think we thought it was, but I think Tampa Bay is a good team if they can get back healthy.
Final team in the NFC South, the division-leading Atlanta Falcons. They sit at 5-3. Their next 3 games, home against the Cowboys, at the New Orleans Saints before headed to Mile High Stadium.
I think Atlanta is one of the more difficult teams in the NFL to figure out. I think Atlanta is a contending team. I really like Atlanta's offense. I think they have 2 capable running backs. I like their offensive line. They got great weapons on the outside. Darnell Mooney was one of the better contracts in the National Football League this offseason. They've got 3 respectable losses. They lost to Pittsburgh, Kansas City, and Seattle. You can live with those losses. All 3 of those losses were at home. But you can live with that if you're Atlanta. Atlanta is going to win that division. There's going to be a postseason team. Are they a team that's capable of going on the road and beating a San Francisco if they have to, or beating a Detroit? But I think you have to consider Atlanta to be one of the top 3 teams in the NFC. We'll continue to get to the top teams in the National Football League over the course of the show. Patrick Mahomes is coming up in 15 minutes. Keep it right here, so drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Right now, 38 states allow sports betting, including 7 of Missouri's neighboring states. Amendment 2 gives Missouri sports fans the freedom to bet on games too, and that will generate over $100 million for our schools. Amendment 2 is endorsed by the Chiefs, Cardinals, Royals, Blues, and Missouri's 2 biggest newspapers, the St. Louis Post-Dispatch and the Kansas City Star. Here's Hall of Famer Ozzie Smith asking you to vote yes on 2.
Back in my day, I was the wizard of the infield. Now, I'm a grandfather. That's why I'm voting yes on Amendment 2. It means over $100 million for Missouri schools and teachers, and no more broken promises. There's a constitutional guarantee that the money goes to our schools, and legalizing sports betting is great for us fans too. That's why the Royals, Chiefs, Blues, and Cardinals all join me in saying yes on Amendment 2.
Paid for by Winning for Missouri Education, Mike Pridmore, Treasurer.
When you have an expert financial partner invested in you, you can't help but feel like a star. Like the new graduate opening their first investment account, the small business owner proudly adding a new location, or the young couple buying their first home. At Community America, we're invested in helping members achieve financial peace of mind with products and services tailored to each stage of life. Member owned, open to all. Community America Credit Union. Invested in you.
Hey, diamond lovers. Shane Company knows fine jewelry. That means a lot when you're looking for a dream engagement ring, a beautiful keepsake, or the perfect gift. When it's this important, you want someone who knows exactly how to work with your budget. Not against it. Someone who knows you deserve a piece more beautiful than you've ever imagined. Through 4 generations as a family business, we've always sourced our diamonds and gemstones directly, cut out the middleman, and passed the savings on to you. Come see us in store and compare our wide selection of diamonds, rubies, and a rainbow of sapphires in different shapes and sizes. So many in stock and ready to take home today. Create your dream engagement ring in 3 easy steps, or pick a perfectly preset ring that's created by our in-house design team. Browse our selection of fine jewelry gifts for everyone in your life, from diamond and gemstone studs to must-have tennis bracelets and beautiful birthstone necklaces. With our everyday competitive prices and unmatched free lifetime warranty, Shane Company is your go-to destination for fine jewelry. Visit shaneco.com and come in to see for yourself. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Protect yourself. Get the updated COVID-19 vaccine and your flu shot at the same time at Hy-Vee. That's right, you can save time and get your COVID-19 and flu shot at the same time. Schedule your updated COVID-19 vaccine and flu shot online today, or just stop by any Hy-Vee pharmacy whenever it's convenient for you. No appointment necessary. Plus, when you get your flu shot at Hy-Vee, earn a 20-cent fuel saver. Your Hy-Vee pharmacy is here to help you and your family stay healthy. Some restrictions apply.
You could be on the 50 at GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Enter to win at chiefs.com/GEHA. GEHA is the proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Robinhood is introducing forecast contracts so you can trade the presidential election. Through Robinhood, you can now trade financial derivatives contracts on who will win the U.S. presidential election, Harris or Trump, and watch as contract prices react to real-time market sentiment. Each contract you own will pay $1 on January 8, 2025 if that candidate is confirmed as the next U.S. president by Congress. Learn more about the presidential election contracts on Robinhood at robinhood.com/election. The risk of loss in trading commodities interest can be substantial. You should therefore carefully consider whether such trading is suitable for you in light of your financial condition. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Commodity interest trading is not appropriate for everyone. Displayed prices are based on real-time market sentiment. This event contract is offered by Robinhood Derivatives, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm. Exchange and regulatory fees apply. Learn more at robinhood.com/election.
You're listening to the all-new 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports. KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Welcome back into the drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. Coming up in about 15 minutes, we will play our conversation with the quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes. He will be on the show coming up in just a bit. Rob, I do want to get back to football things, and we'll talk about that in a bit, but I don't know if this came across your social media timeline. Did you know that 7 area Applebee's closed earlier today? They didn't give the workers any notice. They just told them, you're fired. You can get your last paycheck on this day. Thank you so much. But Applebee's is out of here. Now, I'm not sure how many Applebee's there are around the city, but I don't actually think there's that many. This is the question I want to ask you guys at 913-586-7965. What is the future of those kinds of restaurants in 2024? Because I know we joke about Red Lobster on this show, but Red Lobster was kind of one of those places that we all ate as a kid, and it feels like in a lot of ways we eventually grew up to eat at different places than those. Maybe Olive Garden was your place, Applebee's was your place, Chili's was your place, whatever it was. Like, we all kind of had these chain restaurants that we went to a lot as kids and with our family, and a lot of those restaurants are closing now. What does the future look like for these kind of restaurants in 2024? Is there a place for these kind of restaurants? Because we all like to go out to eat. We all like to spend our time with our family in these ways. It just seems like we are not going to be spending our time with our family at Applebee's anymore.
I think, to answer your question, I think they will continue to exist, but I think what happened is restaurants like that oversaturated the market. Carrington, pick a town in USA. You can envision what I am discussing. There is a place off the highway where you get off at exit mile marker blank, and you will drive down a road and you will see a street that has all the following restaurants: Applebee's, Perkins, IHOP, Chili's, Texas Roadhouse, Outback Steakhouse, whatever have you, you will see all of them down the exact same road. I can picture multiple stops, like when you're driving to the lake or when you're going out to, Manhattan or something for a K-State game where you stop in a town and that is what you see. Golden Corral, you see all of them down one block. That is too much. I think the Chili's, Applebee's, Red Lobster grouping oversaturated the market, and now people are choosing local, and they're pushing out the chains. I still think there's a place for them, but they can't be every 3 or 4 mile markers. You see that same strip of here they all are again.
I mean, but we say that, though, but a lot of the local restaurants that I would say were maybe more geared towards family, a lot of those seem to be closing down, and they all have the same reason for why they are closing down. Now, I know this isn't something that you have to think about, but you do have a family. Maybe not a family in like you and your wife have 2 or 3 kids together, but you are part of a family. Where is a good place to eat that you and your family think you could eat for $30 to $40 a person? Because a lot of those restaurants are, Red Lobster was one of those, right? Red Lobster just went bankrupt. Applebee's was one of those places. 7 of those places just closed earlier today. Where is the place that if you want to take your 8-year-old kid who just had a good report card and you want to take your kid to go get something to eat, where is that restaurant that you could take them to? Because when you and I were kids, it felt like there were 15 of those kind of restaurants. Maybe you went to a buffet and you went to Old Country Buffet, or you went to Ryan's, or you went to one of those kind of places. Or maybe you went to a fancy place, so you went to Olive Garden or Red Lobster. What's that place now that people are taking you got a 12-year-old kid and you got an 8-year-old kid, and you're not going to spend money for a high-end restaurant. You don't need to, but you want to take your family out for a nice meal. Where are you taking those people in 2024?
Has fast casual done it? Has fast casual pushed that out? I know it's not like me and you think of like a nice meal, but like has your Chipotle, McAllister's, Panera grouping, which is objectively cheaper than a Red Lobster Chili's, but still you're out and it's more a restaurant feel, and you can reward your little one. Hey, you're going to get a kids meal Chipotle this weekend because you got all A's. Congratulations. Has the fast casual wave pushed out for that family that says, hey, you did a great job. We want to go dinner night? They're saying Steak and Shake more so than they're saying, Outback Steakhouse.
And I would say, though, that's sad. And I
don't disagree, but
I would say I love Chipotle. Chipotle has plastic forks. Like, part of how you learned etiquette and how you prepared yourself for adulthood and sitting down and having these meals was you went to a place for a nice sit-down meal where you had a waiter and you learned about these things. Like, that was an important part of our development as kids, even if we didn't think about it in that way. That's not the experience that you're getting from Chipotle. Chipotle is, I don't want to cook, but I want something. It's quick, it's easy, you grab it and go. That's, to me, the purpose that we got, or the benefits that we got from going to Applebee's or Red Lobster. That is not the same purpose that I think you're getting from Chipotle. I just saw this story and I thought it was interesting. If you guys missed it, there were 7 Applebee's around the city that closed today. I'm not sure how many Applebee's there still are, but if they closed 7 of them today, and this is not just Applebee's issue. Hooters, the one up on Berry Road, just closed down. I think the other one, there's another one that closed down recently. A lot of these kind of national chain restaurants that were in between. It's not a fancy restaurant, but it's also not fast casual. It was a decent sit down. You go in there, you wait your 20 minutes, somebody comes out there, you sit down, you tip, you do all of those kind of things. A lot of those restaurants that we grew up with, they are starting to close down. Coming up in a bit, we'll be joined by Patrick Mahomes, quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs. Rob, there are 2 things that I'm tired of already. Number one is the undefeated conversation. I told you I am not entertaining the undefeated conversation. The second thing I am tired of is, why do we keep having this conversation about Baltimore? Baltimore is a good team. They really are a good team. They're going to win double-digit games. They're going to win their division. They're going to win a playoff game. Baltimore is a good team. But we always got to take it one step too far. Do you have a friend that you and him can joke back and forth, but he always takes the joke just a little bit too far, where it's like the needle has to skip every time? Oh, whoa, hold on. We were just kidding around here. We were just joking. You took the joke too far. That is how we treat the Baltimore Ravens every single time. Here's Ryan Clark. He was on First Take. Listen to this nonsense.
I'm picking the Ravens as the scarier team. Because right now, if you take away history, right, and you take away the things that we knew before 2024, Lamar Jackson is the best player alive, right? The best player living is Lamar Jackson. This is the year that Lamar Jackson becomes the champion. This is the year that Lamar Jackson...
Didn't we say that last year, though, RC? Didn't we say that last year?
They were positioned last year to do it.
But here's the other piece of it is, too, though. Last year, the defense was better, right? The defense was better last year, and Lamar started to play great toward the end of the season. He wasn't this animal. Lamar wasn't the animal that every time I watched him walk on the field right now, I know what it's going to be. Lamar Jackson ain't got to win 3 in 1 year. He just has to win 1. And when I watch this team right now, if I'm preparing to play either one of these teams, I'm more comfortable that I'm going to be in the game with Kansas City and I got to just find a way to win at the end than I am walking into Baltimore knowing that they might blow my doors off because I can't stop them.
What are we talking about? If the argument that Ryan Clark is making is that the Ravens are more likely to blow you out than the Chiefs, sure. I'll concede that point, right? That's okay. That's fine. But who's more likely to win the game? Just win. Is it the team that has lost 3 times already this year or the team that hasn't lost? Is it just... I don't understand why we're doing this with the Ravens. Maybe this is just a product of everybody can't have the same opinion on these shows. Everybody's opinion. You can't just go on there, but man, the Chiefs are really good. We know, yeah. So now it feels like we try to come up with different angles and different. No. How can your answer be that the Ravens are a scarier team to play late in the season than the Chiefs? How can that be your argument? What is it based on? Point differential? That's what we're basing this conversation on? It's goofy is what it is. It's silly. I'm not just saying that because I'm in Kansas City. I also watch these games. Again, Baltimore is a good team. It's like when your boy kind of like hypes a girl up and like, bro, she bad. And then you see her and you kind of are disappointed, not because she's not pretty, because you hyped her up like she was J-Lo. I mean, she cute, but she ain't Jennifer Lopez. That's kind of what I think we do to the Ravens. The Ravens are attractive, but you sitting here trying to tell me she should win Miss America. She not that fine. Now you feel like you hating on her when you don't need to be hating on her, but you're only doing that because your boy set her up. We set the Ravens up to do this. We set them up to disappoint us because you're putting them on a pedestal that they have never, ever reached on the field. They reach all of these goals hypothetically. Well, if, maybe, but the Chiefs are actually doing it. The Chiefs are actually winning these games. The Chiefs are actually playing for championships, winning in championships. The Chiefs aren't out here losing games to Cleveland at home and losing games to the Reds. They're not doing that nonsense the way that they are. They're 22-6 over their last 28 games. And we're sitting here talking about the Ravens being a scarier of a 2 team. It makes no sense to me. Coming up on the other side, we'll be joined by the quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes. That's next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Are you in need of top quality metal for your next project? Look no further than Metal by the Foot. Whether you're a DIY enthusiast, contractor, or business owner, Metal by the Foot has the perfect solution for you. Steel, aluminum, brass, and stainless. The Foot. Blue Demon Welding Supplies, filler rods, and wire. The Foot. Cronius Professional Welding Equipment, Service and Repairs. The Foot. Located in KC and Topeka. Online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the Foot.
Your attention is precious.
pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at BlueKC.com.
Creed. Are You Ready Tour with very special guests, 3 Doors Down and Mammoth WVH. November 6th, T-Mobile Center. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss Creed with 3 Doors Down and Mammoth WVH on the Are You Ready Tour.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra, the rock holiday tradition returns. Saturday, December 7th, 2 shows, T-Mobile Center. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Bring the whole family to the all-new show. Soaring guitars, dazzling lasers, and enough pyro to keep you warm all season. Don't miss Trans-Siberian Orchestra live in concert.
Men, this is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. It seems like everything we hear these days is about political races, and yet there's a far more important race that you run for yourself every day. It's the race to be the best that you can be. But if your libido is low, if your workouts aren't productive, if you've got brain fog and you're tired all the time, you may feel like you're losing that race, and maybe even that your best days are behind you. But the truth is that they're likely not, because if you're feeling like this, it's probable you're simply suffering from low testosterone, a condition that affects a huge percentage of men as we age. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating low T. We've successfully treated thousands of men for the condition, and if you're like most guys, you'll start seeing results in just a few weeks. Better sleep patterns, higher energy, improved mental clarity, more productive workouts, and your libido will likely increase as well. So get back to winning your race by calling us. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
If you're in need of a midweek boost, FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, has you covered with the Hump Day Parlays Reward Stack. Now, every Wednesday, you can get parlay profit boosts on everything from spreads to over-unders and even player props. So don't let the weekend have all the fun. Take advantage of the Hump Day Parlays Reward Stack. Who knows? It might just become your favorite day. Look for the Hump Day Parlays Reward Stack in the FanDuel app to find your profit boosts. New to FanDuel? Visit FanDuel.com/610Bob. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas, opt-in required. Max wager amount applies. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including token expiration. See terms for both offers at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
What's better than one win? 3 wins. With Straight Savings, you keep your own phone, get one line for only $25 a month with real unlimited data, and get rewarded with a $200 phone credit after 12 months. It's a win-win-win. Head to Walmart or visit straighttalk.com today. Switch to Straight Talk. Less dollars, more sense. Straight Savings Plan enrollment requires compatible unlocked device and new line of service. Bonus device credit requires 12 months of active service. Offer ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. Taxes and fees apply. For network management practices, see Straight Talk's terms and conditions.
I don't feel so good.
You do feel hot. DayQuil Kids will take care of that fever.
What about my cough?
DayQuil Kids has that covered.
Will it make my throat feel better?
Yes, that too.
But will it taste good?
Yep, DayQuil Kids comes in your favorite flavor.
Purple?
Well, yes, it's great.
Try new DayQuil Kids Plus Fever, the daytime coughing, aching, sore throat fever just for kids medicine. Safe for kids 6+. Use as directed.
Halloween's coming alive at Target. Jackie and Gordy, the Jack-O-Lanterns, here with last chance Halloween deals. Looks like Mom's got the old pumpkin bucket stocked with the best candy, starting at $5.99.
Lucky pumpkin bucket. Oh, there's Dad party planning with a same-day delivery order.
Yes, it's a BOGO 50% off pizza party with Target Circle. Plus, buy 3, save 40% on soda 12 packs with Target Circle.
Nice saves, Dad.
Make your Halloween come alive at Target. Need it last minute? Get same-day delivery with Target Circle 360. Restrictions apply.
Your attention is precious. pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at bluekc.com.
Arvest Bank, believing in the power of serving others.
Arvest Bank believes in the power of serving others. That's why we're committed to supporting those who serve our communities. We believe that all communities deserve a financial partner who cares. Arvest. We believe.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Kansas side, 35 northbound before 635. An accident in the left lane, keeping things pretty heavy from Shawnee Mission Parkway. And then 635 northbound on the bridge. Accident in the left lane there, keeping things very slow from Leavenworth Road and Building. Southbound onlooker slowdowns from before Horizons Parkway. Alan Carr, 96.5 The Fan, traffic.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. He's the best quarterback in the NFL. He's taken your Chiefs to the mountaintop 3 different times.
Mahomes moving to his left laterally, chased, holding it, and gets out of bounds and up the sideline. He's not out of bounds yet. He's at the 10, inside the 10, he dives for the end zone. Touchdown, Kansas City.
And he sits down with one show across the entire country for an exclusive one-on-one interview. Your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Here's Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes on The Drive.
Welcome back into The Drive on 96.5 The Fan. Very happy to play for you our conversation with Patrick Mahomes. He joins us each week. Usually it is on Tuesday. It kind of got pushed back this week because the Chiefs play on Monday Night Football. It's perfectly fine. We are happy to have him on. Yesterday was a special day for Patrick Mahomes. He and the 15 of the Mahomies, they have their yearly gala where they raise a lot of money and they give the money to charity. Our conversation starts with, how did it go?
It went great, man. It's always great to see all the support that we have in the community here for Kansas City, and it was the biggest one we've had yet, and it just keeps getting bigger, and it really is truly remarkable to see that everybody wants to come out and support not only me but the community and everybody that I work with. So it was a lot of fun.
We obviously know a lot of your on-the-field goals. What is a charity goal that you have? I got a chance to go to Indianapolis, and Peyton Manning has a children's hospital in Indianapolis. You have the ability to do very similar things here in Kansas City. What are some charity goals that you have?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I have like an ultimate goal of where I want it to end up at. I just want to keep growing it and just keep impacting kids from underserved communities and kids that just want to follow their dreams. And if I can keep doing that, then I think I will be happy with whatever the end goal ends up becoming.
You've built the park that's pretty close to the plaza. Now that Sterling and your little ones are getting old enough, have you had a chance to take them down there so they could play at the park?
Yeah, they've been able to play at the park. They enjoyed it. And the hope is that I can keep doing stuff like that throughout the community. I mean, not only parks, but I've partnered with the Boys and Girls Club now, and we're going to try to help upgrade and keep those facilities at top-tier stuff. And so as long as we can keep improving stuff for kids to have the ability to go out there and follow their dreams and have fun and meet people and have new friends, I think that would be really cool to do.
You mentioned it a little bit about the growth you've seen in your charity over the years. How cool is it to see that community buy-in? It's not just your teammates, it's the community that has really come out to support your charity as well.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, that's the special thing about Kansas City is people care about each other and they want to improve everyone's lives. And so I think I went from like 407 people last year to almost 900 people this year. And so it just shows that this thing is growing, and it's not about just me. It's about the city of Kansas City and how special a place it is.
Right now we're talking to Patrick Mahomes here for a few minutes. You mentioned growth. We have seen Chiefs fans go to opposing venues and sort of take it over. I don't think we've seen anything like we just saw on Sunday. It felt like a college coming to take over another team's home venue. It looked like it was 70-30, maybe 80-20 inside Allegiant Stadium on Sunday.
No, it was really cool to see. I mean, all that red in the away stadium. I mean, the Chiefs fans always travel well, but I think it was even more this last week. And so hopefully we can keep doing that. Obviously, we got the next 2 games at home. But as we keep traveling to other away stadiums, I hope the Chiefs Kingdom keeps traveling like that because it definitely gives us an advantage.
A lot of people want your thoughts, I guess, on the trade of DeAndre Hopkins. It happened right after the last time that you and I got to speak. How rewarding is it? How exciting is it that you guys finally got him? You guys have kind of flirted with DeAndre Hopkins. You brought him in for a visit a couple years ago, and this time the deal came together.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. I mean, obviously a great football player, but I've built a great relationship with him, and he sees the football game. He sees the game of football a lot like I do, and you saw that in the little bit of opportunities that he got throughout the game this last game. And so I think as we continue to get him more and more involved in the offense, you're going to see how special of a football player he is, and he came here to win, and hopefully we can continue to do that. And he definitely has a good knack for getting open, which is going to help everybody on the football team.
You've communicated the respect that you have for him. How great is it that this is a guy that has never played with you before? I'm not sure what run-ins you guys had before him joining the team, but you can hear it in his voice that he has a great respect for you and what you guys as a team have been able to accomplish over the last few years.
Yeah, I mean, he's a great football player, and I think when you get guys that have played a lot of great football in their career, they want to continue to go for that next challenge, and for him, it's to win the Super Bowl, and that's everybody's goal at the end of the day whenever you play the game of football. And so I think he's excited to be here. I think if you watch the tape, he got open a lot this last week. And so I think seeing that on tape is going to give me the confidence to give him more and more opportunities to go out there and make plays.
A lot of conversation has been made about Andy's offense and how difficult it is to kind of learn on the fly. How difficult do you think it will be to kind of get him adjusted and get him acclimated into the offense in the middle of the season?
I mean, if it's anything like last week, I think it's gonna be easy for him. I mean, he's a very smart guy. He has a good understanding. He's played in multiple different offenses with multiple different quarterbacks, so he's a good understanding of how to just get himself open and be in the right spot. And I mean, we actually, I think last week we were even surprised by how fast he was picking up stuff. And so with a whole other week and an extra day, I think he's going to be fine to go out there and get a full amount of work in order to be a big part of this offense.
Patrick, certainly correct me if I'm wrong, but I just can't think of you guys having too many receivers like DeAndre Hopkins, a little bit bigger, more of a contested catch guy. Normally you guys like the, 6'1", wiry kind of speedy guys, and that's not what he is. Is this a different receiver than you're kind of accustomed throwing to, or is there a comparison that you have?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a different receiver. I mean, he's kind of a one-of-one receiver when it comes to being able to catch the jump ball, being able to get himself open in space, be able to be one-on-one coverage. I mean, there's a reason that he's got all those All-Pros, and he's always been a great receiver. But I mean, he is a little bit of just kind of a mixture of a lot of guys that we have. I mean, Sammy Watkins, Juju. He's got the ability to win one-on-one like some other receivers that we had. I mean, it's hard to describe one guy because he's one of those type of receivers that only comes around once in a generation.
I saw that some of the other receivers were calling him Monk. I'm curious, how many more years in the league do you think it's going to be before there's going to be some young receiver that the Chiefs get and they're going to start calling you Unc?
It's not going to be many more. I mean, I'm still not very old. I mean, I'm only 29, but this is my 8th year in the NFL. So, I mean, a lot of these guys were in middle school or even low high school whenever I got in the NFL. So they've been seeing me play for a long time. So as the years go on here soon, they're gonna be calling me Unc for sure.
I've got a couple of Halloween questions to ask you. Are you more of a Scream person or a Saw guy?
I'm more Scream. I'm not a big scary movie person at all in general, but I would probably say Scream.
Let's say that you got cast in a scary movie. Maybe you wouldn't even agree to do it, but let's say you got cast. How confident are you that you would make it to the end of the movie?
I'm pretty confident because I think just in general I have a good self-awareness and knowing where I'm at, but definitely, I don't know if I would win, but I would definitely make it the longest. But I feel like they're going to come get me, man. They're going to take me out. They know I'm going to be the guy that's leading us the right way.
Which one of you do you think would last longer in the movie, you or Travis? Because you've seen enough scary movies to know you can't have two athletes make it to the end of the movie. Somebody's not going to make it the long way. Who makes it the longest?
It's going to be 1,000% me because I'm going to be the one thinking. Travis is going to be the one that's just relying on instinct, and that's always how you get caught. By yourself, where the guy, the villain, or whatever can go get you.
Yeah, Travis seems like the one that he would make the suggestion to split up, and you can never split up in these movies.
He's going to make the suggestion to split up. He's going to be like, let's go back in the house. I think if we go back in the house, we're going to be good. You know, Travis, man, he thinks on his feet, but sometimes it gets you in trouble.
All right, I have 5 candies I want to get your opinion on. I picked some of the, I don't want to say obscure candies, but maybe not the most popular candies. Let's start with Butterfinger. What's your verdict on Butterfinger?
They're all right.
Kit Kat?
I actually love Kit Kats. It's like one of my probably different candies I like than most people.
We actually had a guest on this week, or he said that Kit Kat was the best chocolate-based candy, so we have a 1-week suspension where that he can't come on the show next week.
I don't know if it's the best chocolate-based, but I am a fan of the Kit Kat every now and then. It kind of throws a little change up on your whole candy repertoire.
All right, Mike and Ike's.
I'm not a big fan of those, no.
All right, how about hot tamales?
Not a big fan of hot tamales either.
All right, Twizzlers.
I can eat a Twizzler, but it's not like that's my go-to. If it's around, I'll grab one.
Do you like Twizzler pull and peel? I actually like pull and peel more than I like the original Twizzlers.
I probably would say pull and peel is a little bit better.
All right, where are you at with the Nerd Gummies? Have you had these new Nerd Gummies?
Yeah, we had them. They had them in training camp. I mean, I definitely got a couple of them. They're pretty good. I mean, I'm not the biggest candy guy myself, but I have a couple candies that I just like, and I'll eat those. But I'm more of like a chocolate chip cookie type guy. Like if I'm going for any type of like dessert type food.
All right, last one is sweet tarts. What's your verdict on sweet tarts?
I used to love them when I was young. My dad loved them, so I would eat them a lot when I was young. So I would say they're pretty up there for me. But I haven't had them in a while, actually, now that you say it.
Last couple questions here, Patrick, and I appreciate your time. I'm actually curious to get your opinion on this. You are somebody who your opinion, your voice matters. As you've sort of matured in your career, how do you make the determination of things that you want to speak up on?
I think it's just stuff that I feel like at that moment in time is something that I believe I need to speak up and use my platform. But, I mean, it's such a hard thing to decide and make those choices because it's not going to only impact you but your family as well and everyone that's around you. So you have to kind of weigh all those decisions and then decide if it's the right time to make your voice known.
You obviously know the climate that we're in, and athletes are speaking up just almost every day. Do you ever feel a pressure to speak up? Do you ever feel like an outside force that people are sort of looking for you to give your thoughts on certain things?
I don't know if it's necessarily a pressure. I mean, I understand the platform that I have, and I understand if I wanted to or not, what I say is gonna kind of be out there for everyone to see, and it could impact other people and how they think. But I think my goal is just to try to be the best person that I can be at the end of the day. And even though it might not be 100% with everybody and what they agree, I'm going to try to do whatever I can to make a positive impact in the world at the end of the day.
What are your Halloween plans?
Sterling really wanted to be a flamingo, so we have a whole type of flamingo and zoo animals type thing going on. That's our favorite animal, I guess. I guess the flamingo is an animal, and so we're doing that, and we'll go around trick or treating a little bit, and hopefully get a lot of good candy and not let Sterling and Bronze eat too much of it.
You've accomplished a lot of great challenge in your career, making sure that your young daughter doesn't eat a lot of candy on Halloween. That might be your toughest feat.
Oh, yeah, I think it's going to be my son. My son, like, I don't know how he can just, like, sense it. Even if he hasn't had any type of sweet before, the moment he, like, smells it, he's like, I like that. So I got to try to keep him from getting all the candies and the desserts and whatever he gets for Halloween.
Well, I think we learned that you are not going to be giving Bronze any Mike and Ikes this year. That is Patrick Mahomes joining us on the show today as we get you ready for Monday Night Football. Patrick, man, great stuff, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man.
Absolutely. That is a quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes. We catch up with him every week. If you missed any part of that conversation, be sure to check it out on the podcast page, 965thefan.com. So this I just saw while I was playing the interview for you guys. I'd be very curious to see what you guys think about this. 913-586-7965. The owners of the KC Current, also Patrick Mahomes and Brittany Mahomes, they have made a bid to become the 16th franchise in the WNBA. The WNBA, they have already announced 2 new cities that they want to expand to, and the owners of the Current are interested in bringing a WNBA franchise to Kansas City. Rob, you and I talked about this a little bit last week, but I think it has certainly become now more concrete now that Patrick Mahomes, Brittany Mahomes, and the other owners of KC Current have also put their name to it and put in a bid to try to be one of those franchises. You would have to think that Kansas City would now be in a very serious running. They have a bid, and they also have a bid from one of the more recognizable American athletes and also a group of people that have made women's sports work in a city before, right? Like, There's already the infrastructure there. If you have questions on whether or not a WNBA team will work in a certain city, that is a fair question to have in other cities around the country. I don't know if that's a fair question to ask about Kansas City because we are currently seeing women's soccer work in Kansas City. Now, I'd be curious to see if they have plans to build a stadium the same way that they had plans to build a soccer stadium. So I will be curious to hear about the infrastructure in place. Are they going to put a stadium down there right across the street from the KC Current and really try to make this one of the more progressive sports areas in the country? But pretty interesting information that's just come out in the last 10 minutes that all of the money people involved with the KC Current, they have now put a bid in for the WNBA. I do not think an NBA team would work in Kansas City. I actually think a WNBA team could work here. I think it could work. I think there's some questions about where the team would play and where would the stadium be and sort of the infrastructure associated, because I don't think they would play at T-Mobile Center. I just think the venue is too big. But this is pretty interesting now that the current owners have decided to put a bid in to try to bring a WNBA team to town.
I mean, the maybe multi-million-dollar question is, where are they putting the stadium? And because one of the things that same ownership group did, which is a massive positive for the city and for the Current and for all the things, one of the first things they did when they took ownership of the Current was they went to work on getting a stadium done. Now, they didn't, ask for an extension of a sales tax. They got it done largely on their own, but they went out, they got the Current, they played for a year at Community America Ballpark, or what now is Legends Ballpark, played for a year at Sporting Park, and then, boom, world's first women's soccer-specific stadium opened up. If they get the WNBA franchise, you would imagine the same thought process is going through their head. Hey, we're not getting this to play in front of, empty seats at T-Mobile Center. We're not getting this franchise to play in a podunk arena like Municipal. You got to figure if they are putting in to get a franchise, they at least as a ownership group have talked about an arena, because you and I both know the arena is the next step. And if they have a location, a thought process, whatever for an arena, that is huge for the growth of the city.
Yeah, text line 913-586-7965. My only concern, are we supporting the Current because it's women's sports, or is it working because KC is one of the biggest supporters of all things soccer? I don't have a definitive answer to that. I'm just not a huge soccer fan in that way. I think the answer honestly is both, right? I think the answer is both. I think it is very safe to say that we are in the middle of a revolution in the ways that people view women's sports. It's not cool to make fun of women's sports the way that it was maybe 5, 10, 15 years ago. There is definitely becoming a shift. And as there are more stars currently in the WNBA than there were before, there are more stars in women's college basketball. You would have to think that if you are interested in putting your money into women's basketball, isn't now the perfect time to do so? Like, I'm seeing the text line here. T-Mobile is the place. The Caitlin Clark effect will draw 10,000 people a night. Caitlin Clark doesn't play on every team in the WNBA. The WNBA franchise in Kansas City is not getting 10,000 people out there every single night. Not even close. Someone else says they would play in T-Mobile. No, they wouldn't. If they get a WNBA team, that team is not prepared in year one to go play at the T-Mobile Center. And that's perfectly fine. That's not really the case for any WNBA team right now in the WNBA. That's not the case for any of them. The Las Vegas Aces, maybe the most popular team, I guess, outside of Caitlin Clark, they play in Mandalay Bay in a 4,000-seat arena. To me, you are setting the WNBA up to fail if you are not either building them their own stadium that you can then use for youth tournaments, and that can be part of the circuit, or they are going to play at Independence Event Center for a couple of years until they do it. So if they ever came to me and asked for what my opinion is, I would suggest you either play at Independence Event Center until you can kind of get the funding, get the space, build a stadium for the team. But you got to be focused on building a 3,000 to 4,000 seat arena that makes it feel like something. You get good crowds out there, you get good energy. And then for the open dates, you use it for high school basketball. Use it for high school basketball.
In that it's not exactly, but in what you just described, what that same ownership group just did with CPKC Stadium, like, The current stadium has a tenant for the current games. They play from March basically to November. I know this year they have the final at their stadium in December, but that's a rotating entity. It's like the Super Bowl. Outside of that, it is used for things like right now, the Big 12 tournament for women's soccer is being played down there. I'm betting there will be concerts and other things as time goes on down there and growth in that area develops. It is going to be more than just women's soccer. What you're describing is what they've already done. Hey, build the stadium, make the anchor tenant the women's sports team, but also use it for other things. And an arena has more 24/7, 365 usage dates than an outdoor stadium in Kansas City does. So it would stun me if the ownership group of KC Current doesn't believe exactly what you're saying. Hey, we know what attendance looks like in the WNBA. Maybe they'll build a stadium bigger than what you're talking about if they decide to build because they think the WNBA is on the uptick, and maybe they build closer to 10,000 or 9,000. But they definitely, if they are building a stadium, have thoughts in mind beyond just the WNBA franchise playing 30 games a year there.
Yeah, I'd be really curious to kind of hear how this develops. But, I mean, if you are the WNBA and it is clear that they are looking to expand to 2 more franchises, Kansas City seems like a very, very viable place. Loves sports, supports women's sports, and you also you'll have Patrick Mahomes be one of your biggest allies here where you have him come out, he does his photo appearances, he sits courtside. He's a big fan of it. That would make a lot of sense for a league that is starting to grow. This is a really pivotal time for the WNBA. They just renegotiated their television contracts. Their players are holding out right now for a better CBA. It feels like we are at the middle of, I think, the WNBA becoming a little bit more mainstream. It's never going to be some of the other sports that we watch. I don't think it needs to be some of those other sports, but we have definitely seen a revolution in women's basketball over the course of the last 18 months. That now is the right time. If you were thinking about investing and buying into women's sports, now is the time to do it if you're somebody like Patrick Mahomes. Coming up on the other side, we are going to go through every team in the National Football League. We have already gone through both of the South divisions in the AFC and the NFC. Coming up on the other side, we'll keep that train rolling. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison. On your new home for Royals baseball, 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Hi, it's Derek Johnson, and I know there's nothing better than being part of a team. A group of great people you can count on and learn from. The Sheet Metalworkers, local number 2, are growing their team and looking for quality men and women who want to build Kansas City's future. While you're making KC a better place, you'll also get great pay and benefits while gaining lifelong skills. Explore the possibilities at sheetmetal2.org. That's sheetmetal2.org. And take a step towards a fulfilling and rewarding way of life.
Show your Riz. Here's a career opportunity for you. Keller Fire and Safety is hiring fire protection professionals because they are on fire and they need your help, both inside the office and out in the field. Keller needs your experience, but if you don't have it, they'll get you there. Keller has been saving people and property since 1950. Get your career on fire. Look them up online and apply.
Keller Fire and Safety. KellerFire.com.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and our hotline is open. Annie from Kansas City, what's on your mind?
I want a dealership that I can trust for a lifetime. Is that you?
We're Google's highest review-rated and only locally owned Subaru retailer in Kansas City. That's a good start.
I just want a great deal. That's all.
How about 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models? That'll get you a low monthly payment. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
Google highest review-rated Subaru retailer in Kansas City based on 2023 Google Analytics.
Dick Ray, he's your heating magician. Dick Ray, he's a man on a mission. In the dead of winter when the furnace is broken and a chill is in the air, you can call Dick Ray and he'll fix it up with care. He's always there. Call Dick Ray, he's your heating magician.
Hey, it's Dick Ray. Schedule your furnace tune-up today. Only $79. Call 913-DICK-RAY.
The IRS is ramping up collection, and if you owe back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, listen carefully. Before it's too late, check your eligibility for the Fresh Start program still offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax problems. Call our special hotline number now and find out in minutes if you qualify for these life-changing debt reduction programs. Business or personal, if you're in a payment plan with no end in sight, have unfiled tax returns, under audit, have a wage or bank levy, or finally just want to know your options, call the experts at Republic Tax Relief and stop collections immediately. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau with a 5-star rating from Yelp, this veteran-owned company has the fight you need to take on the IRS. Don't go at it alone. Call their hotline number now, 800-406-1794. That's 800-406-1794. Find out if you qualify today. Call 800-406-1794 or go to republictaxrelief.com.
When people have a craving to explore new and traditional Asian cuisines, they head to P.F. Chang's, where scratch-made dishes come from the 2,000-year-old tradition of wok cooking. P.F. Chang's wanted to explore new possibilities for their website. They turned to AmericanEagle.com. AmericanEagle.com re-architected P.F. Chang's website, integrating multiple third-party systems to create a unified digital experience. The results? Improved page speed and performance, personalized content based on users' location, intuitive online ordering, an increase in organic search visibility, and a 40% increase in new users. For scratch-made Asian cuisine, visit your local P.F. Chang's or go to pfchangs.com for website design, development, digital marketing, and hosting that produce efficiency, revenue, and results. Visit AmericanEagle.com. P.F. Chang's and AmericanEagle.com. Another example of the best businesses in the world, turning to the best in the business for websites. Go to AmericanEagle.com or call 877-WEB-NOW1. That's 877-WEB-NOW1.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this: if something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
Mommy, want to play a game with me and Dad?
Mommy's not feeling good.
You need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with DayQuil VapoCool. It's DayQuil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
Come on, honey. Let's let Mommy rest.
You guys are amazing. And so is DayQuil VapoCool.
DayQuil VapoCool, the vaporizing daytime coughing, aching, fever, power through your day medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This charge is brought to you by Metro Ford, online at kcmetroford.com. Got a crash, traffic stacking up behind it too. Northbound lanes of 35 just before 435 on the Metro Southwest side. Also another 2-car crash southbound 435 in North Kansas City just before 24 Highway. This is closing the left lane. Want more from your dealership? At Metro Ford, every new vehicle comes with a lifetime limited powertrain warranty. Family owned, just 10 minutes from downtown and packed with unbeatable value. Drive smarter only at Metro Ford. Online at kcmetroford.com. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Kane is in the building.
Welcome to your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
You know what? I decided to call it. I'm sorry. You won't hear my thoughts on the Dallas Cowboys and the Buffalo Bills. Maybe we'll get to it, maybe we won't, but I've made an executive decision to call an audible here. 913-586-7965. Rob, I don't know if this has become a hot take, but a majority of us, we're men here, right? We can have this conversation. One of the best times on Instagram is right now. I love seeing all the Halloween costumes. Big fan of it. You know what, Rob? I think if we did a number 1 overall pick, if we did a draft for Halloween costumes, You want to know which Halloween costume that I think has moved up to the number 1 overall pick? You want to know which one I think has become the best? I think it's Velma from Scooby-Doo. I think Velma from Scooby-Doo has become a very, very solid Halloween costume. Think about when you're scrolling on Facebook and you're scrolling on Instagram. The shooting percentage when the gals dress up as Velma is 96%. 96% from the field. I would have never had guessed this. You would think that the Daphne would go. The Daphne doesn't go the same. I think Velma is moving up into the elite Halloween costume items. Every person on your timeline that decides to be Velma, shooting an incredibly high percentage. It might be the number 1 overall pick. We've seen the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders outfit. It doesn't excite me anymore the way that it used to. I've seen the nurse costume now. It doesn't do anything for me anymore. Show me your personality. Show me your creativity. Be Velma from Scooby-Doo.
Is Velma from Scooby-Doo showing off the creativity?
Yes.
Is Scooby-Doo even still in the air? You're telling me right now. And college, we both know, college is a bigger deal on Halloween is a bigger deal on a college campus than it is as adults.
I don't know if that's the case on Instagram. I hear what you're saying, but you and I are on the same Instagram.
Instagram clout and actually doing it are very different.
Okay, but I'm saying is I'm not going to your Halloween party. I don't feel like I need to because I've seen Halloween. It's on my phone. I get those 3-4 days of Halloween. Someone said, CDOT, my favorite is Harley Quinn. I'm going to tell you this. I don't want any young lady that has decided to be Harley Quinn for Halloween. That's not the kind of young ladies that I'm into. If that's the kind of girls that you're into, that's fine. We all are allowed our own choices. I don't want the young lady that decided to be Harley Quinn. That problems is what it is. It problems. You know she's a little bit crazy if she decided to be the Harley Quinn. So no, keep the Harley Quinn girls away from me from Halloween. I don't want anything to do with them. Nothing.
The most popular one I've seen, I've seen a lot of people dressing up this way, is the mom from The Incredibles.
That's not a bad one.
I mean, it's
not a bad one. I can live with that.
It kind of falls in the same category for me as Velma. That movie came out 20 years ago. How is it just now in the zeitgeist? I don't understand that. But that is a popular outfit this year. Again, I think that one's probably more popular on your college campus than Velma is, because then you can have other members of The Incredibles, the whole deal. I think the mom from The Incredibles is a popular pick.
Okay, I'm just throwing that out there. Text line 913-586-7965. I just want you guys to just give me your opinion. What do you think the number 1 overall pick is? Because there was a time that Dallas Cowboy cheerleader was the number 1 overall pick. I think it's kind of moved on a little bit. I think it's turned into Velma. I think it's turned into Velma from Scooby-Doo. I think she's become the number 1 overall pick. If you could pull off the Velma costume, she's probably a baddie. I can't believe the Harley Quinn. I bet that's Rob, Harley Quinn? Can you imagine if your wife came home and you were like, hey, what do you want to be? And then you were just like, oh, she's like, I want to be Harley Quinn. You'd have some serious questions.
Can I ask her questions if it makes me now nerdy? Which version of Harley Quinn?
Okay.
Because there are some in the comics and on movies and screen that I could see Harley Quinn being a popular pick. Dressing up as Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn is probably different than dressing up as Lady Gaga's Harley Quinn. There are levels to this.
If you saw that movie, The Joker 2, and that's the character that you want to be, I really don't want to be around you. I really don't want to be around you. If you saw the sequel to Joker 2 and you now want to be Harley Quinn, I don't want anything to do with you. You're even crazier. You enjoyed that movie? No. I mean, I can't do it.
If you are talking to someone who's like, you know what movie I saw, not enjoyed, but just saw, you might have an issue. You know what? I went in the movie. I went and spent American currency to see, was it Folie à Deux, the Joker story? You should walk away from that person immediately. They don't understand finances, and they are going to bankrupt you one day.
Someone said, what about the police officer costume? I don't dislike the police officer costume.
Yeah,
you just don't have any creativity. You don't have any creativity.
But
Halloween is the time for your girl to get the fits off on the gram. That's the time. It's the time for you to get the fits off. That's the time for me I really want to see your personality. You know what I think if you are the cop? I think you just went down to Spirit Halloween. You just got the little $30, $40 costume. You didn't put a lot of effort into it. You didn't put any effort into it. You have no creativity. None. No. The cop played out. The nurses played out. We don't want those costumes anymore. Give me a little something. Give me a little flair. Give me something.
Someone informs me, and I didn't know this, that the Incredibles are a Fortnite skin. That's why the mom is back in the zeitgeist.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. You play Fortnite?
Apparently one of our texters does, because they texted in the show and told us that, because I don't play Fortnite. I play one game. It's NCAA college football, and that is the extent of my gaming now.
Okay. I was asking. I didn't know. I'm here to ask questions. Someone said, what about Tina from Bob's Burgers? That's lost on me. Is that the one from The Gift that's doing that weird dance? You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know what The Gift is.
You know the one I'm talking about. I'll show it to you.
Like the GIF or the
The GIF?
Yeah, where she has the glasses and the bowl
she's
cut.
like
Yeah.
Popping it. I don't know.
That is exactly who. That's Tina.
Okay, my bad. Somebody said, what about the Tomb Raider costumes? I will support a young lady that can pull off the Laura Croft costume. That's a good one.
Yeah, but she's at an indoor party. She's not out and about because it's about to be cold out.
Somebody said, what if they dress up as the Grinch? Bro, what's going on? All right, never mind. Why did I? You know what? We should have talked about the Eagles. That's my fault here. We should have talked about the Giants here. That's what we had plans to do.
Before the segment, I was like, hey, we'll do the NFC East here. Got it. I got a great audible. And then look what you did.
Talk about Velma. I know. Shout out to Velma.
Now the text line wants to talk about Dolly Parton. You have created a monster.
Shout out to Velma. What do you think is the kid? Do the kids have a Scooby-Doo now? Or is that time in cartoons
Paw
just
Patrol.
over?
And now what Paw Patrol is? I don't know what Paw Patrol is, but that's my assumption. People I have, friends of mine who have kids, can't stop talking about Paw Patrol because all their kids watch.
Paw Patrol is very popular. Bluey's very popular with the youngins too. I just didn't know if the kids have a Scooby-Doo. Do they have a Jetsons and a Flintstones the way that we had?
No chance
they
ain't
got a
Jetsons.
Scooby-Doo?
They definitely don't have a Jetsons.
Okay, I just didn't know.
Were you a Jetsons kid? The Jetsons never moved me.
I like the Flintstones more than I like the Jetsons. But I did like those cartoons, though.
I liked the Jetsons song.
Were you at Nickelodeon or a Cartoon Network?
Nickelodeon.
Okay. I didn't know. Someone said, what about the Britney Spears VMA outfit? Now, I don't know. You got an elite gal if you think she can pull that off for Halloween. You gotta be a certain caliber of young lady to be able to pull off that Britney Spears VMA outfit. That's I don't know. Not everybody's able. Not everybody's able to be able to do that. All right, I'm happy we had this conversation, fellas. This was fun. This was enjoyable. We'll bring this back next year. We'll see what is moved to the number 1 overall pick, because currently Velma has the number 1 overall pick. All right, coming out on the other side, you know what we're going to talk about? Let's talk about D-Hop. All of the stats are out from Sunday's game. Let's tell you how much he played and where the growth could potentially be from the newest Chiefs wide receiver. That's coming up. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for K-State Athletics, 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This hour is brought to you by Metro Ford, online at kcmetro4.com. Got a crash, traffic stacking up behind it too. Northbound lanes of 35 just before 435 on the Metro Southwest side. Also another 2-car crash southbound 435 in North Kansas City just before 24 Highway. This is closing the left lane. Want more from your dealership? At Metro Ford, every new vehicle comes with a lifetime limited powertrain warranty. Family owned, just 10 minutes from downtown and packed with unbeatable value. Drive smarter only at Metro Ford, online at kcmetro4.com. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
I love fall weather. The crisp air, the falling leaves, until someone in my family catches a chill outside. Luckily, Kohl's has deals on all things cozy. I got 20% off comfy layers and warm denim, $10 off because I spent over $50, and earned Kohl's cash. Now we're ready to bundle up and get back out there, thanks to Kohl's. select styles. Offers end November 3rd. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
If you're in need of a midweek boost, FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app, has you covered with the Hump Day Parlays reward stack. Now, every Wednesday, you can get parlay profit boost on everything from spreads, over-under, and even player props. So don't let the weekend have all the fun. Take advantage of the Hump Day Parlays reward stack. Who knows? It just may become your favorite day. Look out for the Hump Day Parlays reward stack in the FanDuel app to find all of your profit boosts. New to FanDuel, visit FanDuel.com/CDOT and use my promo code. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NBA and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Max wager amount applies. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost. Restrictions apply, including token expiration. See terms for both offers at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Can help with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Robinhood is introducing forecast contracts so you can trade the presidential election. Through Robinhood, you can now trade financial derivatives contracts on who will win the U.S. presidential election, Harris or Trump, and watch as contract prices react to real-time market sentiment. Each contract you own will pay $1 on January 8th, 2025 if that candidate is confirmed as the next U.S. president by Congress. Learn more about the presidential election contracts on Robinhood at robinhood.com/election. The risk of loss in trading commodities interest can be substantial. You should therefore carefully consider whether such trading is suitable for you in light of your financial condition. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Commodity interest trading is not appropriate for everyone. Displayed prices are based on real-time market sentiment. This event contract is offered by Robinhood Derivatives, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm. Exchange and regulatory fees apply. Learn more at robinhood.com/election.
This holiday season, Capital One reminds you to give yourself the gift of 1.5% cash back with the Capital One Quicksilver Card.
Can I earn 1.5% cash back on birds?
Birds?
What if you sent your true love 2 turtle doves plus a partridge in a pear tree?
Sure, but why would anyone want that?
The song was very convincing.
Earn 1.5% cash back on all your holiday purchases with the Capital One Quicksilver Card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Tonight, expect light rain with a low of 48.
Weather brought to you by Robert Half. Robert Half's recruiting professionals use their award-winning AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. Learn more at roberthalf.com/talent today.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison. Weekdays starting at 2 on Kansas City's FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
All right, welcome back into the show. My name is Carrington Harrison. Very happy to be here with you. Rob is here as well. You are listening on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, also the Odyssey app. Coming up in just a bit, I will go through how many players that I think can actually win the NFL MVP. Rob, let's also do something a little bit different in this 4 o'clock hour. Let's do Contender or Pretender, but let's do a college football edition of Contender or Pretender. I think we know that Texas is legit, Georgia, those kind of teams, but there's some fringe college football playoff teams. Let's go through those coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. All right, let me give you guys some stats really quickly on DeAndre Hopkins. I'll look this up. You know I'm really big on snap counts. D-Hop was in for 32% of their offensive plays on Sunday. D-Hop ran 14 routes on Sunday, and they also threw it to him 3 times, and he got 2 catches. So if you want to find a very obvious place that there is room for growth in this offense, I think that's where it is. I'm not really sure where else it is aside from guys just simply getting healthy. You getting Hollywood Brown back, at some point later in the year, the return of Isaiah Pacheco to kind of open things up a little bit. But I think what you've seen from Kareem Hunt is this is what he is. Now, Travis can be better over the course of the next couple of days than he was in the first 3-4 games. A lot of that is targets and opportunity, and the offense certainly has a better flow of getting him the ball where he can contribute and actually help this team. But if you are looking at one very obvious place in the second half of where improvement is going to happen and where they're going to be drastically different a month from now than they are today, it's with DeAndre Hopkins. 33% of the offensive snaps. I would imagine that you are going to see a pretty incremental growth over these next 2 games, and they're kind of waiting for the Buffalo game, I think, to use D-Hop in his full potential. If the Chiefs go on the road and beat Buffalo coming up in a couple of weeks, I know we're a little bit past this conversation, but we can have it now if you want to. It's going to be really difficult for anybody else to be the 1 seed in the AFC. Like, this team has an opportunity to have the 1 seed kind of locked up by Thanksgiving if they really want to. You already have a 4-game lead over Baltimore. You play Buffalo coming up in a couple of weeks. You play Houston at the end of the season, but Houston's number 1 wide receiver is hurt right now, and their number 2 wide receiver is hurt as well. And I just don't see Houston as a team that's going to go 13-4 this year. I think they're going to go 11-6 and win their division and be a 2 or 3 seed in the AFC playoffs. I just don't see Houston being the 1 seed in the playoffs. You have already eliminated one of your contending teams in terms of being the 1 seed. You got a chance to eliminate the Buffalo Bills by the time you have your first bite of turkey. So if you were looking at where this team is going to be different over the course of the next month or so, I think, Rob, it is very, very obvious. It's very, very clear. It is in their usage of D-Hop, how they get him acclimated into the offense, how his role expands, and can you get him ready for a pretty significant game against Buffalo where you could potentially take a 3 or 4 game lead over Buffalo if you beat them coming up in a couple of weeks?
I think maybe the other way to say this in semantics is the involvement and growth of D-Hop, I think, does another thing for this offense. It's going to push them back toward pass first, and they will become a more effective passing team. They are 7-0, and everything's great, but right now, they are Marty Schottenheimer. They are ground and pound. They are 3 yards, cloud of dust, 4 yards, cloud of dust, 4 yards, cloud of dust, first down. That is how their offense operates at its highest efficiency. It's Kareem Hunt being a bowling ball. Go in there and get us the tough yards and keep us ahead of the sticks. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I don't think at its core, how the offense is built with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid is to be, hey, we're going to be great because we are running the football. DeAndre Hopkins' growth and involvement is important because I think it gets the Chiefs back to being an explosive offense, because when you have the most talented quarterback on the planet and probably the best coach on the planet, when you combine those factors, they should be, compiling explosive plays in big chunks. Those big chunks tend to come through the passing game. And right now, they don't really have those big chunks. They're not zero, but they are fewer and far between. If DeAndre Hopkins' growth happens the way we think, there's a trickle-down effect because now the explosive plays are back in the playbook, or they are there for the taking, and everything gets better because the Chiefs are then getting back to what they are at their core, which is a West Coast passing offense.
Yeah, I don't know if the explosive plays are maybe coming in that way. I would say that the explosive plays that you are talking about, I think you get there by Xavier Worthy's continued development. And maybe we are saying the same thing, that once you get D-Hop kind of acclimated into this offense and he kind of operates underneath, and you've also got Travis Kelce, you can take 1 or 2 more big shots down the field, and you are hoping that that's what you get. But I think we know, who are their big play down the field options? So if you were talking about explosiveness in the passing game, that's just not how they use Mecole Hardman. They don't use Mecole Hardman as that down the field threat. I also don't think that's what Justin Watson is on this team. There's just not a lot of guys that you think kind of fit that, who's going to take the top off the defense. There's only one guy they have on their team, and that's Xavier Worthy. That comes with more time, more development, getting better on the same page with him and Patrick Mahomes. I think we see at times there's just a miscommunication there that makes sense. This guy's in the first 2 months of his career, but I don't really know if D-Hop at this point he's not creating a lot of separations. He's also just not really running past people anymore. How are you going to create those big plays? How are you going to create that explosiveness? I think it gets from more trust between Patrick Mahomes and Xavier Worthy, because I think he's the only guy in this offense that's really capable of having that explosiveness at this stage in his career.
And I guess it's probably semantics, because I would say an explosive play is 15 plus. And maybe DeAndre Hopkins getting more growth and being more than just it's 3rd and 6, run to the sticks and give me a first down guy opens up more for Travis Kelce. It does open up more explosive opportunities for Xavier Worthy. I know we don't look at him this way, but Justin Watson, his career, has been a downfield threat. I remember that Charger game, his first year. He went right down the field in a one-on-one and won, and big play for a touchdown. I think there is a trickle-down effect. Mitch Holt was on the show Monday, and he said what he saw from Hopkins isn't Hopkins-specific, but what he saw from Hopkins is the other stuff. Kelce had one of his best games of the season. You saw them targeting Worthy more and more and more. Now, it was a lot of drag routes and curls, but they did see a higher volume to their explosive weaponry. I think if that continues, and they got the long week to get ready for it, I think Hopkins' growth has a trickle-down effect, and it creates more opportunities for other players to make those downfield explosive type of plays. Because right now, 4-yard pass to Kelce, 3-yard run by Hunt, 4-yard pass to Hopkins is working, and that's great, but it is not a sustainable model. You have to have some level of explosion in your offense.
Yeah, no, they certainly need to add it at some point. I think we see where they will. I was going to ask you a toss-up question, but I think I already know your answer. Who do you think this offense could use more? Do you think it's Isaiah Pacheco, or do you think it's Hollywood Brown?
I think it's Hollywood Brown.
Yeah, I actually think it's Isaiah Pacheco. I think that Kareem Hunt has been – I think Kareem Hunt has been fine for what he is. He's averaging 3.7 yards per carry, and that is a yard different than Isaiah Pacheco. I think getting Isaiah Pacheco back gives you a 4.6, 4.7, and I also think that Pacheco is just better at catching the ball out of the backfield than what Kareem Hunt is. I think Kareem Hunt is a backup running back that they are having to use way more than they should just based out of the circumstances. That if you were telling me that you could get that same toughness and you can take some of those miles off Isaiah Pacheco down the stretch and you can use them more as the yin and yang, I think you would start to get a little bit more out of Kareem Hunt even than what you've gotten so far this year. Now, I'm with you on Hollywood Brown. Adding Hollywood Brown back, having a viable pass-catching option would be a huge benefit to this team. I actually think it's kind of noticeable now over time that I think some of the newness has worn off. You remember, early on in Kareem Hunt, people were arguing that he was better than Isaiah Pacheco. He's not. There is no stat, there is no metric that you can show me that would suggest that Kareem Hunt is a better running back in 2024 than Isaiah Pacheco. They are noticeably worse at running back than they were the first 4 weeks of the season or last season. And I think getting back to that level of explosiveness could open things up for the rest of the offense as well.
I think the answer is, honestly, if I really were to think about it, it's a tie. I think they need both, because right now Xavier Worthy's only their downfield threat and their offense is worse, but their running game is worse. I think some of the allure or some of the scheme or some of the whatever is definitely off Kareem Hunt. I remember I pointed this out 2 weeks ago, and the text line called me a hater. I said, guys, it's worth noting his yards per game per carry every game is getting worse and worse and worse, which is what happens when you're a 30-year-old running back in the NFL. You can burst onto the scene and have a great game, but eventually the wear and tear your body has, especially with the usage, has worn him down, and you can see it noticeably. Kareem Hunt slowing down. I
actually don't think that's it as much.
His yards per carry is going down every game.
Yeah,
noticeably down. Not from it was not like Jamal Charles, 5.8 to suddenly 2.1. It's been a steadily gradual decrease.
I think what it is with Isaiah Pacheco, there is always the possibility of a big run, right? There's a chance that Isaiah Pacheco runs somebody over or runs past somebody that you can take that 2nd and 4 and you can turn it into 1st and 10 because he had a 17-yard run and he gets up and he's all fired up. If you give the ball to Kareem Hunt on 2nd and 4, it is very, very possible he gets a first down on that play. He's also probably not getting 9 yards on that carry either, or getting 11 yards on that carry. He might get you 5 or 6 and move the chains. And again, I'm not negative on Kareem Hunt at all. I think he has served the absolute purpose of what they are. But you mentioned the explosiveness in the pass game. That is certainly missing. They also don't have explosives right now in the run game as well, and that's what Isaiah Pacheco was. He is explosive. Whether it is you give it to him on a 2nd and 1 and he's going to rumble pass for 8 yards, he was getting those tough yards too. He's just a younger version of what Kareem Hunt is. Coming up in a little bit, we can keep this conversation going off about the Chiefs offense. Let's also play Contender or Pretender, a college football edition. There are, I would say, about 5 to 6 teams that are on the fringe of the college football playoff. Are you a believer in these schools? That's coming up. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
This man was a bona fide scrub.
On 96.5 The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Hey, it's Carrington Harrison from The Drive here for our new friends over at Heartland's Men's Health. I recently learned something. Did you know that half of the men over the age of 50 experience erectile dysfunction? It also can affect younger men. ED isn't just a medical issue. It can take a toll on your confidence and your relationships. And over at Heartland Men's Health, they believe that ED is treatable, and their expert team offers up solutions with a success rate that's over 90%. You can enjoy intimacy without the anxiety. Take back control. And for just $99, your initial visit includes a medical consultation, test, and even a test dose. And if it doesn't work, your visit is on the house. It's totally free. Men are getting back to enjoying a vibrant sex life just one day after their appointment with my friends over at Heartland's Men's Health, and that's what I want for you. Go stop by any one of the 3 area locations, Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City. Don't settle. Pick up the phone and call my friend at Heartland's Men's Health at 844-447-6600 or check out heartlandmenshealth.com. Get your life back today.
Right now, 38 states allow sports betting, including 7 of Missouri's neighboring states. Amendment 2 gives Missouri sports fans the freedom to bet on games too, and that will generate over $100 million for our schools. Amendment 2 is endorsed by the Chiefs, Cardinals, Royals, Blues, and Missouri's 2 biggest newspapers, the St. Louis Post-Dispatch and the Kansas City Star. Here's Hall of Famer Ozzie Smith asking you to vote yes on 2.
Back in my day, I was the wizard of the infield. Now, I'm a grandfather. That's why I'm voting yes on Amendment 2. It means over $100 million for Missouri schools and teachers, and no more broken promises. There's a constitutional guarantee that the money goes to our schools, and legalizing sports betting is great for us fans too. That's why the Royals, Chiefs, Blues, and Cardinals all join me in saying yes on Amendment 2.
Paid for by Winning for Missouri Education, Mike Pridmore, Treasurer.
Hey, it's Rex here with RexBuysKC.com, your local KC home buyer. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, write this number down, 816-330-6000. I'm a private real estate investor, not some hedge fund or large national chain. My family and I live right here in KC. I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at RexBuysKC.com, we're improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind in payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000. Or go to RexBuysKC.com. That's RexBuysKC.com. And I look forward to working with you.
What's up, Kansas City? It's Mitchell Schwartz. You know, there's nothing easier to enjoy than watching the Chiefs with some wings and an ice-cold Bud Light. And Buffalo Wild Wings is serving up both for every game, all season long. Join me at the Buffalo Wild Wings located off 50 Highway and Chipman Road in Lee Summit on Friday, November 1st. I'll be there with the crew from 6 to 8 p.m. celebrating the back-to-back Super Bowl champs while eating some wings and drinking $5 Bud Lights. Nothing easier to enjoy than that. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. For more details, go to 965thefan.com. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Our favorite reason to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler? Free service for life with no fine print. That's right. When you buy your engagement ring or any piece of jewelry at Diamonds Direct, you will never have to pay a dime in the future for sizing, cleaning, or routine maintenance. At Diamonds Direct, there's no gotcha clause, no fine print, no looking for ways to void the warranty. Diamonds Direct, the jeweler you can trust with a no questions asked 100% free lifetime warranty with no strings attached. Come see us to learn more.
Reason number 52 to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler. Only Diamonds Direct gives you a 110% diamond upgrade guarantee. Diamonds Direct will give you 110% of your original purchase price toward the new stone. That's 10% more than you paid the first time. Guaranteed appreciation. Who else does this? There's no fine print and no minimum purchase requirement. It's 10% more, period. Buy with confidence. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Let's face it, nowadays most companies have to rely on dozens of expensive, disconnected platforms to run their business. And even then, things can get a little, well, stressful. But with Odoo's all-in-one management software, packed with a suite of fully integrated business applications, every process is streamlined. Tasks are automated, and success is just a few clicks away. See how Odoo can take your business to the next level at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Chiefs coverage is brought to you by Comfort Systems Heating and Cooling, serving all of KC.
From maintenance to emergency repairs, Comfort Systems Heating and Cooling will keep you warm when it matters most. Contact us today and stay cozy all season long. Comforting people is what we do. Comfort Systems is right for you. MyComfortSystems.com.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Two-car crash has cleared on the north side of the city, southbound 435 just before 24 Highway. Still seeing some backups behind it, however. And a two-car crash southbound lanes of 35 just past Armour Road. This is closing the left lane. I'm Lori Pearson for 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Chiefs fans, it's Trey Smith. Welcome to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
We were talking about the run game for the Kansas City Chiefs, and I'm very hopeful, optimistic that they're going to get Isaiah Pacheco back sooner rather than later. There was a little bit of update on Isaiah Pacheco that he is back to running on the treadmill. So I think we were talking about Isaiah Pacheco coming back in probably the next 2 to 4 weeks. I think you're sort of looking at the Chiefs' schedule and trying to find a target date of what could be realistic for him to come back. I feel pretty confident in saying that he will be back at least by the Black Friday game. If you could get Isaiah Pacheco back for the game against Buffalo, so that is 18 days from today. So they had the game against Tampa Bay. They then play Denver on the 10th, and then they play the Buffalo Bills on the 17th. I think it's a realistic possibility that you could have Isaiah Pacheco back by the Buffalo game. Maybe that's a little bit optimistic, but the fact that he has not had any complications, the fact that he is already running and he doesn't have a boot on anymore, you would think that this is trending in a very positive direction. Someone on the text line says, C-Dot, do you think Isaiah Pacheco is going to be the same when he comes back? It's a leg injury. Yeah, that's just kind of football, though. Like, I don't have any worry about Isaiah Pacheco when he gets back as long as he is fully healthy. We're talking about a guy that just played earlier this season and is still a 25-year-old running back. So I don't have too much worry about Isaiah Pacheco. If he comes back, he is fully healthy and medically cleared to go out there and play. I think you will see the exact same Isaiah Pacheco. You talked about explosiveness in the pass game. I think they also could just use the explosiveness back in the run game. I looked this up during the commercial break. So Kareem Hunt, he has exactly 50 more carries than Isaiah Pacheco has on the season. They both have the same number of runs that have gone for over 10 yards with 2 this season. So one player is getting an insane amount of usage in comparison to other players in the league. So I looked this up during the break as well. The only players in the NFL right now that have a higher average in terms of touches, because he's just not going to have the same amount of touches as Joe Mixon, who has played in more games, or Saquon Barkley, who has played in more games, etc. The only 2 running backs with a higher level of usage since he has joined has been Joe Mixon and Kyron Williams. I just don't think that's who Kareem Hunt is now. So I think the Chiefs are going to be helped out on both ends of it. You get back the more productive back in Isaiah Pacheco. And now if you were telling me that for the 4 to 6 carries that they are giving Carson Steele or giving Samaje Perine, you were now going to give those carries to Kareem Hunt, I think you'll see a better, fresher version of Kareem Hunt as this team gets into the cold months as well. I think Isaiah Pacheco coming back is just going to make this offense more well-rounded and more complete because of his explosiveness, and I think you will then put Kareem Hunt back in his proper role of being a great backup singer. Like, they're asking him to sing lead for the band right now. I think he's doing a good job given the situation. I just don't think he's that back anymore, that if you put him back in his proper usage and he's getting the ball 6 to 10 times a game and you're using him in some different and creative ways and you're using him as that short yardage back to take some of the wear and tear off Isaiah Pacheco, they can have a really deadly 1-2 punch.
I think the harsh reality, and maybe harsh is an unfair term, the reality of the situation is what Kareem Hunt is this point in time in his career is Mike Allstott. He is, hey, we need you to it's 3rd and 2. Get us 3. He's going to get you 3
100%.
yards every time. Like, that's why he's a great goal line back. That's why he's great on 3rd downs. That's why he's great on 4th downs. There is absolutely nothing wrong with saying running back, Kareem Hunt, we need 3 yards, go get it for us. He does that. The problem is, and this is why I make the Mike Allstott comparison, you were never handing the ball to Mike Allstott and being like, man, we're about to break one off for 22 yards here. You're not getting that from Kareem Hunt. That 10 yards rushing stat is jarring. Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt have the same amount of 10-yard plus runs right now. Kareem Hunt's been the starter for 5 weeks. He's played more games this year than Isaiah Pacheco.
I mean, right now, Kareem Hunt has 50 more carries than Isaiah Pacheco. Isaiah Pacheco has 34 carries on the season, and Kareem Hunt has 84 carries so far this season, and they both have the same number of 10-yard runs. One player just gives you a chance at just more explosiveness than what I think Kareem Hunt gets you. So I'm still very, very high on Kareem Hunt. I think he has been a perfect complement to what the Chiefs are. I also think someone asked, why are they running it so much? I still think he's one of their better options in the face of everything. If you were telling me that the plan is to give the ball more to you pick their wide receiver, I trust Kareem Hunt more than I trust Justin Watson. I trust Kareem Hunt more than I trust McCole Hardman. I trust Kareem Hunt more than I trust Xavier Worthy and the touches and the opportunity. So I think he is getting the ball so much is because he's still one of their better options.
I mean, I get your point. He is still one of their better options. But I hope, and we talked about this earlier, I hope with the inclusion of Hopkins into the offense, they get away from that run-first mentality, which, by the way, is not just me disliking that. There has been no point in Andy Reid's career other than this season where that is how they operate. Even when they were running out Coy Detmer in Philadelphia, they were 60-40 pass.
I would argue last year they operated that way.
They still were 60-40 pass.
You're right, but, and we don't talk about this enough. Do you know who led the team in yards per scrimmage last year?
I mean, that's always going to be a running back, but yes.
Not on this team. It has not always been their running back on this team. It usually was their wide receiver. It usually was their tight end. Last year, the Chiefs player who had the most yards from scrimmage was a running back, which I'm guessing that is the first time that has happened during the Andy Reid era. This is who they've turned into over the last eight weeks. This is who they've been. This is an extension of who they were last year in the postseason. We talked about this yesterday. The Chiefs, the version that is playing right now is not any different than the one that played in the postseason. It is not any different. The one that went on the road and beat Buffalo, this is the same version of the Chiefs, the same version that beat the Baltimore Ravens, the same version that beat the San Francisco 49ers. They have just honed in on what we are. Let's make sure that we give our running back 20 to 25 carries. Let's be balanced here, and let's try to limit mistakes on the outside. That's all they've been for the last, basically over this winning streak.
They are that right now. But I would say the last 2 years are the outliers and not the trend. I still think Andy Reid at his core wants to get back to what he has been every other season in his NFL career. I think what you just described and their running back being their primary weapon is a product of they've been forced to do that more than they want to do that. It is, we got backed into a corner. Last year in the postseason, if they had run the same offense they were running in Week 11 against the Bengals and against the Raiders, they would have gotten beat. So they just said, no, we're not going to get beat. We're going to change it up. This year, I think the plan was to get back to regular, but all the injuries have piled up, and now out of necessity, they have gone back to that postseason plan. But I think as they begin to get more healthy and add more weapons, they want to get away from that plan because it was a product of necessity, not what they want to do.
Coming up in a little bit, Rob, I do want to go through some of the contenders and pretenders in college football as we get closer and closer to the playoffs. Let's talk about this for just a little bit as we are getting closer to the MVP conversation and who you think it's going to be. Now, Rob, you know that I don't think that the MVP always has to be a quarterback. Last year, I would have voted for Christian McCaffrey. I said that almost every week on this show. That's who I would have voted for to win NFL MVP. I don't think this year that there is a non-quarterback that would fit the criteria. I don't think that Derrick Henry fits it. I don't think Derrick Henry is the MVP of this season. There's not a Tyreek Hill year where a wide receiver has just been so phenomenal. I think TJ Watt has been incredible. It has not been a defensive player that has been so good this season that you need to include him into the MVP conversation. So this is the top 5 right now for MVP. Josh Allen is number 1. Lamar is tied for number 1 as well. Patrick Mahomes is 3rd at plus 600. Jared Goff at plus 1,800. Jalen Hurts at plus 1,500. Those are the top 5. I understand why Mahomes is in the top 3. Patrick Mahomes has not played like the NFL MVP. We've seen the 2 years that he has won the award. I don't think he has played like the MVP. So I understand why Vegas and the book just doesn't want everybody betting on Mahomes to win MVP. I don't think he has been the MVP so far this season. I think through the first half of the season, I think that Josh Allen has been the MVP. I think Jaden Daniels is 2nd, and I would probably put Lamar Jackson at 3rd, but at this point, what does winning MVP matter for the Baltimore Ravens? He's won it 2 times before, and they haven't made it to the Super Bowl. And somehow, at least in my mind, that kind of knocks Lamar Jackson. Like, we're going to give this guy the award again for MVP, but I would have him at 3rd. That's how I would have it today. I would have Josh Allen 1, Jaden Daniels 2, Lamar Jackson as we are through the halfway point of the NFL season.
The absolute disrespect coming out of that room for Jared Goff is just impressive. You don't have him in your top 3? Jared Goff, not in the top 3. It's fine if you don't have him as the favorite. Me and you have argued about this. I have no problem with Josh Allen as the favorite.
He's been great this year. I can't deny that.
Josh Allen's been sensational. I have no argument with Josh Allen. Jared Goff is number 2. Jared Goff leads the NFL in completion percentage. He's a 71% completion percentage in the NFL, Carrington. He also is, top 5 in touchdowns thrown this year? He has 4 total picks. Jared Goff has been really impressive on the second best team in the NFL, the best team in the NFC, and they are boat racing people over there in Detroit. And we both know, as much as it's stats and driven and all those things, there's a narrative to it too. He doesn't throw incompletions and they're killing people. Jared Goff has got to be in your top 3, ahead of Lamar Jackson, no less. Lamar Jackson, what he would have to do to win the MVP is Herculean because he already has the award. There is no world where Lamar Jackson is ahead of him in an MVP hierarchy power ranking. Jared Goff has to be in that top 3.
All right, let me ask you this. Is there a world in which you would vote for Jaden Daniels to win MVP? Because I don't know if Jaden Daniels is going to have the traditional sort of MVP numbers. Like, he is not going to have one of those just monster seasons. We have seen Mahomes have 2 monster seasons in which he won NFL MVP. Lamar Jackson's first year thought he had monster numbers to win MVP. If you were looking at the pace right now, as we are at the halfway point, the Commanders have played 8 games and they are now entering their bye week, I believe. Jaden Daniels is on pace to throw for 15 touchdown passes. Now, he is on pace to complete 70% of his passes. He is on pace to have 3,700 passing yards and almost 1,000 rushing yards. Do you think that's enough for a rookie to win MVP? If he finishes the year with 3,600 passing yards, he runs for 1,000 yards, he has 25 combined touchdown passes, and the Commanders are the 2 seed in the NFC. Do you think that's enough for a rookie to win NFL MVP?
The numbers would be yes. I would say so. But I think they already have an award for that level of season. He's going to win the Rookie of the Year. I think a Rookie of the Year, and this is unfair, by the way. I'm not saying this is the way the world should work. This is the way the world does work. The level he has to play at a rookie is just remarkable to, as a rookie, win the award. So the numbers you laid out, I think, are MVP good, but he's held to a different standard because he's already going to use those stats to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. So I think the stats you laid out are a yes, but I do not believe he will win it even with those stats, if that makes sense.
I will say, to your point about Jared Goff, if there is a player who has the ability to go out and win the award, I think it's Jared Goff. I just don't think that Patrick Mahomes is going to have the numbers to win the award this year. I think the Chiefs are going to be the 1 seed in the AFC. I believe that Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league. I mean, we're at the midway point of the season. He has 8 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. I just don't think that he is, from a number standpoint, going to turn things around where at the end you say Mahomes has been the most valuable player in the league. I do think with Jared Goff, the numbers are certainly there. I mean, he has 13 touchdown passes, 4 interceptions, and you're right, he leads the NFL in completion percentage. I think the biggest thing for Jared Goff is they got a lot of big games that we are now going to be paying attention to, that if you want to sort of sway the conversation in your favor, I mean, this is how you do it. They have the Fox 325 game this week. They play the Packers in their division. Next week, they play Sunday Night Football on the road against Houston. They play on Thanksgiving. Everybody watches on Thanksgiving. They have a 325 game in December against Buffalo, the Nance and Romo game. They play Monday Night Football against San Francisco later in this year. Jared Goff, I would say, more than any other quarterback, and I guess you would put Josh Allen in that conversation as well, Goff has more opportunities than anybody else to go out and win the award. Is he going to go take the award, and Jared Goff is going to be the MVP of the NFL? I also think the league kind of wants to give it to somebody new. Mahomes has won it twice already. Lamar Jackson has won it twice already. And then everybody else has yet to win their first award. Jared Goff's been to a Super Bowl, hasn't won the award. Josh Allen hasn't won the award yet. So there's a couple of different guys who have never won NFL MVP. Even in the middle of the Brady runs, you got a Cam Newton MVP. You got a Matt Ryan MVP. You got one of those quote-unquote random MVP years. This could be one of those with Jared Goff that he puts together a good year and he ends up winning NFL MVP.
So 2 quick things. 1, outside of the Vegas betting odds, are there actual people who believe Patrick Mahomes should be the favorite for MVP? Because I know that's what Vegas says, but I agree with you. I think it's because the book doesn't want to be out over its skis and have the most talented quarterback have long odds and something crazy happens. But even the text line, which is the most see-through Chiefs glasses entity maybe on earth, there is no real person who is saying Patrick Mahomes for this season should be the MVP, correct? Like, that's like arguing against air. That doesn't exist. It's like that meme on Twitter. There's always one guy saying Steph Curry can't make no one believes this year is a MVP season for Mahomes, right? It's just the book protecting themselves.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I also think, and I don't want to speak for all Chiefs fans here, this is maybe just me projecting, I don't think Chiefs fans care about this stuff anymore. There was a time where I think Chiefs fans really cared about this stuff. Patrick Mahomes' first year, you remember when at the end of the season they were arguing for Drew Brees to win MVP. I'm like, wait, hold on. Like, it's obvious who the MVP is. It's the quarterback of the Chiefs. After the year that Tyreek was gone and Mahomes was putting up those big numbers, I think there was sort of a push. But when you were in the middle of a three-peat, I just don't think Chiefs fans are moved anymore by the conversation on if their guy is being slided or not slided. Like, the numbers aren't there, and the Chiefs just obviously are looking for a much greater prize. This just goes to our conversation that Chiefs fans have just turned into NBA fans. Like, the regular season is cool, and sure, you'll watch it and you'll keep up with it, but it is far more about the postseason and how your team is positioned and those 3 or 4 games potentially at the end of the season. So I think we have just reached at least this point with Mahomes that I just don't think fans care whether or not he wins the MVP or not. He's going to be the quarterback of the best team. They're going to be the 1 seed. You're going to have to come through Kansas City, and I would take him over any of these quarterbacks in a game that really matters. Josh Allen has been incredible. Lamar has been incredible. Jared Goff is putting up big numbers. in a game on January 15th, I will take Patrick Mahomes against any of them. And as long as you feel that way about Mahomes, I just don't know if Chiefs fans care anymore about individual awards.
And I actually very much agree with that. I believe fans don't truly care. I think they cared in 2022 because it was obvious Mahomes was, and it was just nonsense on social media about who should beat Mahomes. Second thing, and there's another quick thing. You said we'll look back if Goff wins it as a random year for Jared Goff. Will we? What about Jared Goff's resume makes him look like a random person? He was a top 2 pick in the NFL draft. He went to a Super Bowl at his first stop. He's now played an NFC title game in his second stop. He is putting up MVP style of season this year. He could win it. We also don't know. He might end up with another Super Bowl appearance under his belt or at least another NFC title appearance. I feel like Jared Goff is viewed as like some came out of nowhere Cinderella story. We'll look back at his tenure as, wow, that was random that he was good. Everything about his lineage, except for Sean McVay giving up on him, is a guy that we should believe can do these things. Top pick, former Super Bowl quarterback. Like, that lineage is not going to be looked back at as random, is it?
Yeah, I guess more to me, the random is we had 2 years, like this is how the NFL MVP conversation went. It went Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, Cam Newton, and Matt Ryan won it. And then it went to Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Aaron Rodgers. So maybe random is the wrong way of putting it. I just think if Jared Goff wins the award, we will look back, and then next year Patrick Mahomes will win it, and then Josh Allen wins it, and then Joe Burrow will win it. And we will point back like, oh, yeah, I remember Jared Goff won NFL MVP. I mean, isn't he this generation's Matt Ryan? Like 7 years from now, me and you they're going to fire us. And you know what our replacements are going to argue? They're going to argue that Jared Goff is a future Hall of Famer because he won MVP. The same way that people will argue that Matt Ryan should be in the NFL Hall of Fame because he won MVP that 1 year and his team lost in the Super Bowl. Doesn't that sound like the accomplishments of Jared Goff? Isn't that what Jared Goff has basically done so far in his career? They went to a Super Bowl, they lost, and you think he's going to win NFL MVP this year and they're the best team in the NFC. That sounds like the northern version of the Atlanta Falcons.
Can I ask you a question? Isn't the players laid out? Isn't that actually Joe Burrow? Because if Goff wins an MVP and goes back to a Super Bowl, his resume right then, like let's say the Lions win the Super Bowl, they're the best team in the NFC, let's just say they do. We'll take the MVP thing off the table. Isn't then what you're laying out Joe Burrow? Because at that point, Goff would have multiple Super Bowls, which Burrow wouldn't. They both were top 2 picks at quarterback in the NFL draft. It's a matter of accolades from there. Is it possible that random made the wrong term, that Matt Ryan season is what we look back and say, oh, that was Joe Burrow, who Matt Ryan was a top 5 pick in the NFL draft. Boston College, had all the lineage, won MVP, was in the playoffs. But is it possible Matt Ryan is Joe Burrow?
Hold this thought. I have a toss-up question to ask you coming up on the other side. I'll answer your question. It's also related to this. I want you to think about this. Right now, Patrick Mahomes is plus 600 to win MVP, and Andy Reid is plus 650 to win Coach of the Year. Who is more likely to win the award? Is it Patrick Mahomes or is it Andy Reid, as they are both sitting at basically the same odds to win their award? I also think that Andy Reid not really being seriously considered also kind of showed you how broken the process is, and will also play contender or pretender for the college football playoff. Keep it right here, so Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Thanksgiving's my favorite holiday. This year, I get to host, and Hy-Vee's going to make it convenient for me. They have made fresh, ready to heat and serve favorites like succulent turkey, honey glazed spiral ham, prime rib, savory side dishes, and dessert. Hy-Vee's Taste of the Holidays event is coming up Saturday, November 2nd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. You can sample all of the amazing ready-to-serve meal pack options or just get a little holiday inspiration. This holiday season, let Hy-Vee do the cooking while you take the credit, only at Hy-Vee.
Score big savings with Hy-Vee and the Kansas City Chiefs. Big points mean even bigger savings. Just shop Hy-Vee the day after a game and earn a fuel saver discount equal to the Chiefs' score and based on the amount you spend. If the Chiefs score 42 points, you save 42 cents a gallon with any $42 purchase. The more we score, the more you save. Win or lose, everyone scores the day after a Chiefs game only at Hy-Vee. Offer good in store and online. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Fall in the Midwest is pleasant. The air is crisp, the temperatures are mild, and all is right with the world. But every one of you knows that lurking around the corner is creepy old man Winter. He wants to come into your home, put his feet up on the couch, and take over the remote. That's why you need to replace your drafty old windows with triple glass replacement windows from Thermo King. Triple glass? But weren't you told that double glass windows were all you'd ever need? Think again. Triple glass windows offer double the insulating barriers against creepy old man Winter than double glass windows. And their super strong frames are guaranteed to never twist, warp, fade, or fail. And right now, Thermo King is selling their triple glass windows for the same price as double glass. Who would do such a thing? Thermo King, that's who. So don't let this beautiful weather fool you. Protect your home from creepy old man Winter and call Thermo King today. 888-KING-WIN or online at thermokingwindows.com.
Do you wake up with joint pain? Does it hurt when you do even the most routine physical activity? Have they told you it's time for knee or hip replacement surgery? Hey, it's Bob Fesco. Stop what you're doing and listen. You deserve a life of comfort and ease with no surgery and no meds, and QC Kinetics can get you there. You can have real lasting relief from chronic joint pain without drugs, without surgery, and without downtime. Discover your options with advanced regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics. The consultation is absolutely free. This is an all-natural approach that harnesses your own body's healing properties to treat the root cause of your arthritis pain. So call QC Kinetics today, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone. It's QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. Call QC Kinetics today.
The IRS is ramping up collection, and if you owe back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, listen carefully. Before it's too late, check your eligibility for the Fresh Start program still offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax problems. Call our special hotline number now and find out in minutes if you qualify for these life-changing debt reduction programs. Business or personal, if you're in a payment plan with no end in sight, have unfiled tax returns, under audit, have a wage or bank levy, or finally just want to know your options, call the experts at Republic Tax Relief and stop collections immediately. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau with a 5-star rating from Yelp, this veteran-owned company has the fight you need to take on the IRS. Don't go at it alone. Call their hotline number now, 800-406-1794. That's 800-406-1794. Find out if you qualify today. Call 800-406-1794 or go to republictaxrelief.com.
Order for Jennifer C.
Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double hot, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Hey, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Well, I do now.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
Did you say you're cutting me off?
You earn, we match. Unlimited cashback match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Okay, everyone, what did you think of the chocolate bar?
It's too chewy.
Feels kind of chalky.
Too much nougat.
I need to go brush my teeth.
Business is booming for Steph's small marketing research firm.
After all these focus groups, there's only one conclusion. I need more researchers.
And she's way too busy researching
Does this have peanuts?
to waste time researching resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This traffic is brought to you by Metro Ford, online at kcmetroford.com. Northbound 435 in North Kansas City, just before 35, is closed due to an emergency. They're going to have to reroute you. Two-car crash southbound 35 just past Armour Road, left lane closed there. And things looking heavy southbound 71 starting at about MLK through East Gregory. Want more from your dealership? At Metro Ford, every new vehicle comes with a lifetime limited powertrain warranty. Family owned, just 10 minutes from downtown, and packed with unbeatable value. Drive smarter only at Metro Ford. Online at kcmetroford.com. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Make sure to follow The Drive on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
All right. I got a question to ask you guys. Patrick Mahomes right now is plus 600 to win NFL MVP. For those of you that are not the gambling type, he is currently third to win NFL MVP. Andy Reid is currently fifth to win Coach of the Year. He is at plus 650, so they have around the same percentage chance of winning. That would also tell you that it's more likely that Patrick Mahomes wins NFL MVP than it is for Andy Reid to win Coach of the Year. Is Andy Reid's only chance to win Coach of the Year is that the Chiefs have to go undefeated this year? And I understand that this is the spirit of the award, right? Your team was terrible. Nobody thought you were going to be good. You exceeded expectations, so we give you Coach of the Year. But, I mean, if you're the coach of the best team in the league and your team lost its starting running back, your team lost its number one wide receiver, your team lost its number 2 wide receiver, your team currently doesn't have its 4th wide receiver as well, your team's number 2 corner also got injured, its number 3 corner left the next game with the concussion. If there is any team that maybe, hey, you've done a really good coaching job, wouldn't that person be Andy Reid? Let's say right now that you took a good coach. Let's say that you took Kevin Stefanski as the head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs. Are they currently undefeated? Like, if you swapped out Andy Reid and you traded him to Cleveland and you took Cleveland's coach, Kevin Stefanski, are the Chiefs right now currently 7-0?
No.
I don't think they're 7-0. I think they're 5-2, maybe 4-3 with a different head coach than what they currently have. So you were telling me that we think that there is a coach that potentially adds somewhere between 2 to 4 wins of value. And you're telling me that guy has no chance of winning Coach of the Year. The Coach of the Year, I think, has already been decided. It's really only 2 people that I think can win the award. It's either Dan Quinn, the head coach for the Washington Commanders, or it's the Vikings head coach, Kevin O'Connell. I don't really see a scenario in which Sean Payton wins Coach of the Year because I don't know if they're giving it to a coach whose team doesn't win its division. But if the Commanders win their division, their head coach is getting the award. There's nobody else even needs to show up that day. They have already decided. Or if the Vikings win their division, and they got a chance to win that division, I don't think they are, but they have a chance to do it, I think that then Kevin O'Connell is going to be it. So we have just resigned to the fact that Coach of the Year, there's only one criteria for Coach of the Year. Your team has to be bad. Your team then exceeds expectations, so we gave it to you. Then it's not Coach of the Year then. It's turnaround of the year. Call something different. Turnaround of the year. So let's eliminate 24 teams. Your team is ineligible to win Coach of the Year. It is impossible because we thought your team was going to be good this year. So you got to be the coach of the Titans, the Commanders, the Panthers. Those are the only coaches that have a chance of winning the award. This is stupid.
Everything you're saying is correct. It's really dumb. It's really, really, really dumb. It's the same thing I get annoyed with about comeback player of the year. Like last year's comeback player of the year was Joe Flacco when he came back from the devastating problem he had of being benched. Like, that's not the comeback player of the year. The award's broken. There's no way around it. It's a broken award. I mean, the only other way Andy Reid can win it other than going undefeated or exceeding expectations is, and I'm knocking on wood, Chiefs fans, I don't want this to happen, if it was, remember that year that Brady got hurt in the opener and and Belichick still went 10-6? If that happened in Kansas City and they went 11-6, 12-5, made the playoffs, and they did it on the back of Carson Wentz, he'd be coach of the year that year because, he lost his quarterback and still was good. But as long as Patrick Mahomes is his quarterback, I don't think he has a shot. And it's stupid, but that's just the way the world works.
Coming up at the top of the hour, I will tell you the 5 things that I've learned about the Kansas City Chiefs as we are wrapping up the first half of the season. So week 8 is over. We are heading towards week 9 and Thursday Night Football. I will tell you what I've learned most about the Chiefs over the first half of the season. All right, Rob, we got a little bit of time before we get to the hits. Let's have a little college football contender or pretender on who you think has a chance of going to the college football playoff.
All right, Carrington's not going to waste your time with teams we think are auto locks. Let's talk about the teams on the fringe. Contender or pretender for maybe your least favorite team outside of Kansas, the Tennessee Volunteers.
You know I don't like Tennessee.
You hate them so much.
Just don't like Tennessee. Let me pull up Tennessee's schedule really quickly here because you know I dislike Tennessee. No, Tennessee plays Georgia, no. I don't even need to look anymore at their schedule. No. They already got one loss. They beat Alabama. They lose at Georgia. All right, I'm now talking myself into it. I think the easier way to talk about the SEC is we're doing this on the fly. Georgia's going to make it. Texas is going to make it. Alabama is going to make the college football playoff.
Whoa. You have Alabama as a lock?
I don't think
you have 2-loss Bama as a lock?
I mean, there's going to be a 2-loss team that makes – it's not just going to be 11 1-loss teams and then whatever team is the group of 5 school. So if you're telling me that Alabama is still in, I think Alabama's still got a very easy shot at making the college football playoff.
I know we're adjusting this on the fly. Let's run the numbers. Let's say the Big 12 has undefeated Iowa State versus undefeated BYU. You're going to hold out a conference title appearance team with 1 loss for Bama? Let's say the ACC, is Clemson against Miami. Let's say Miami loses. Now you have an ACC champion and Miami both have 1 loss. You're putting 2-loss Bama in over them? What do you do with Notre Dame? I think Bama's second loss disqualified them up until a third SEC team gets that 2-loss mark. If Tennessee beats Georgia or Texas loses to A&M or something happens, they re-enter the fold. But the way it currently sits, they are out.
Yeah, I don't know if Alabama is all the way out yet. They've already beat Georgia this year. They go on the road next weekend. They play LSU. If your losses now, they did lose to Vanderbilt on the road. They also lost to Tennessee, but there's going to be a 2-loss team that gets in. So you're right. Tennessee would get in over Alabama because they beat them. I'm not 100% certain that Notre Dame is ahead of them. Who's Notre Dame beating this year? What's their wins? What's their schedule?
A&M.
They
A&M.
beat A&M in September, and then they have skated by the rest of the year where they didn't play anybody.
They still have Army on their schedule, which is weird to say, but Army still remains on their schedule. What do you do with A&M then? Because A&M was a team I had written down, contender,
I would just like
pretender.
to point out, if we were saying is what good teams have you played, and you're telling me they play Army, that says all I need to know about their schedule and where they currently are. You also think that there's a chance that the ACC and Big 12 both get 2 teams? I'm just saying, you think 4 teams are coming from those 2 leagues? Because I've always operated like 3 teams are coming from that league.
I also was going to put down, what do you do with Ohio State? If Ohio State loses this weekend, they're still probably in. But if you really you talk about Notre Dame's schedule, if Ohio State loses this weekend, look at their non-con.
No, it's weak. Their schedule is weak.
And we haven't even gotten, again, I had written this down. What do you do with Indiana? Indiana just keeps winning. They don't play Ohio State.
They play later in the year.
They don't play Oregon or Penn State then. Mm-hmm. So they could be a 1-loss team that doesn't play in their conference title game. Like, it is going to be an absolute mess for the committee to sort out. So I think if you have 2 losses, you're kind of in trouble now.
Yeah, I would say in your scenario, people might be mad at the outcome, but Indiana needs to beat Ohio State if they want to make the college football playoff.
So you think their only path is undefeated regular season?
No, I think their only path is they need to beat Ohio State in order to make it. Where I actually think, and maybe I'm being naive here, I don't know if the committee is going to be as fixated on how many losses that you have as we used to always be. Listen to the wins that Indiana has so far this year. Let's go through Big 10 wins. Maryland, Northwestern, Nebraska, Washington. So they have not played any good teams in the Big 10 so far. There's really good teams in the Big 10. They haven't played any of them. They play Michigan State. They play Michigan, 2 bad college football teams, and then they play Ohio State. I just don't know if you can lose the one big game that you have. What would their best win be if they lose to Ohio State? Their best win is
Nebraska.
Nebraska? You aren't a playoff team then. I'm sorry, you're not a playoff team.
By the way, real quick, I know we're up against break. You know, if that plays out, I don't think you're wrong. Then super conferences would have screwed Indiana because they didn't make their conference schedule. The non-con they can control a little bit. They didn't go tell the conference, don't give us Oregon. They got screwed by super conferences.
I would then say you need to schedule better. Their non-con games were Florida International, Western Illinois, and Charlotte. I'm sorry that the Big Ten schedule screwed you. You played a UMKC non-con schedule. Go accept the Holiday Bowl. You had a great season. You went 12-1. It was fun. This is a memorable year. You gave tribute to Lee Corso, but I'm sorry, you didn't play a playoff schedule. That has to be part of it. It can't just be, oh, well, we got lucky based on the schedule. We have no clue if Indiana is good or not because their best win is Maryland at home. Coming up on the other side, I'll tell you the 5 things I've learned about the Chiefs in the first half of the season. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This drive is brought to you by Metro Ford, online at kcmetroford.com. Northbound 435 in North Kansas City, just before 35, is closed due to an emergency. They're going to have to reroute you. Two-car crash southbound 35 just past Armour Road, left lane closed there. And things looking heavy southbound 71 starting at about MLK through East Gregory. Want more from your dealership? At Metro Ford, every new vehicle comes with a lifetime limited powertrain warranty. Family owned, just 10 minutes from downtown, and packed with unbeatable value. Drive smarter only at Metro Ford, online at kcmetroford.com. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this: if something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
Mommy, want to play a game with me and Dad?
Mommy's not feeling good.
You need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with DayQuil VapoCool. It's DayQuil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
Come on, honey. Let's let Mommy rest.
You guys are amazing. And so is DayQuil VapoCool.
DayQuil VapoCool, the vaporizing daytime coughing, aching, fever, power through your day medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Right now, 38 states allow for sports betting, including 7 of Missouri's neighboring states. Amendment 2 gives Missouri sports fans the freedom to bet on games too, and that will generate over $100 million for our schools without raising property taxes. Amendment 2 is endorsed by the Chiefs, Cardinals, Royals, Blues, and Missouri's 2 professional soccer teams, the KC Current and St. Louis City. These days, Republicans and Democrats don't agree on much, but the Republican and Democratic candidates for governor are both supporting Amendment 2 because it means more money for education. Amendment 2 isn't like the lottery. There's a strong constitutional guarantee. The new money from sports betting will go to our schools. $100 million for education without raising property taxes. Amendment 2 is endorsed by the St. Louis Post-Dispatch and the Kansas City Star. Vote yes on 2. Paid for by Winning for Missouri Education. Mike Pridmore, Treasurer.
We hear a lot from our patients after we've successfully treated their erectile dysfunction. But one thing we hear the most is, why didn't I get treated sooner? This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. And if you're suffering with ED and all the emotional and relationship problems it causes, don't wait. Call us today. ED is simply a medical condition like any other. And for most men, it's fully treatable, which means you can get your sex life back. And I'm not talking about sex that's just okay, by the way. I'm talking about good sex with the ability to enjoy intimacy without the anxiety that affects so many men who have ED. In fact, you might find you're performing like you haven't in years. At Heartland Men's Health, we're ED experts. We've successfully treated thousands of men with protocols that are successful in well over 90% of cases. And we have a variety of treatments and treatment combinations so you can get the one that's right for you. So stop waiting and call us. Your first visit includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Are you in need of top quality metal for your next project? Look no further than Metal by the Foot. Whether you're a DIY enthusiast, contractor, or business owner, Metal by the Foot has the perfect solution for you. Steel, aluminum, brass, and stainless. The Foot. Blue Demon Welding Supplies, filler rods, and wire. The Foot. Cronius Professional Welding Equipment, Service and Repairs. The Foot. Located in KC and Topeka. Online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
Robinhood is introducing forecast contracts so you can trade the presidential election. Through Robinhood, you can now trade financial derivatives contracts on who will win the U.S. presidential election, Harris or Trump, and watch as contract prices react to real-time market sentiment. Each contract you own will pay $1 on January 8, 2025 if that candidate is confirmed as the next U.S. president by Congress. Learn more about the presidential election contracts on Robinhood at robinhood.com/election. The risk of loss in trading commodities interest can be substantial. You should therefore carefully consider whether such trading is suitable for you in light of your financial condition. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Commodity interest trading is not appropriate for everyone. Displayed prices are based on real-time market sentiment. This event contract is offered by Robinhood Derivatives, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm. Exchange and regulatory fees apply. Learn more at robinhood.com/election.
Brought to you by the Kansas City Symphony. This report is brought to you by the Kansas City Symphony. From a perfectly planned evening to a spontaneous night out, with the Kansas City Symphony, there's no wrong way to symphony. Get your tickets today at kcsymphony.org. That's kcsymphony.org.
You're listening to the all-new 96.5 The Fan, your new home for Chiefs football. KFNZ, FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Congratulations on making it through your 9 to 5. My name is Carrington Harrison. You are listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. Coming up in just a bit, we will play for you our conversation with Patrick Mahomes. Speaking of Patrick Mahomes, he and his wife and also the current owners of the Current have sat down with the WNBA about the possibility of an expansion team coming to Kansas City. We'll talk about that coming up in the 5 o'clock hour as well. I also think that today is going to be the last baseball game of the season. Rob, I don't know if you know this, but any team that was down 0-3 in the World Series, they have never made it to Game 6. So the Yankees, in just winning today, would be doing something that no team has ever done in the history of the World Series. We'll see if they can pull that off today. They got Garrett Cole going on the mound, and this is just an exciting time in sports. All right, this is what we'll do. Before I play for you our conversation about Patrick Mahomes, I will tell you the 5 things that I've learned about the Chiefs as we are at the halfway point of the season. I know the halfway point of the season has changed. They used to play 16 games. Now they play 17 games. Who knows what the halfway point is? I'll just pick at the end of week 8. All right, these are the things that I believe that we have learned about the Kansas City Chiefs over the course of the first 8 weeks of the NFL season. It is possible that their defense is even better now than it was last year. I think last year you could argue that the Chiefs had the best defense in the league. I think that last year you could argue that the Chiefs had the best unit in the National Football League. So whether you were talking all 32 offenses, all 32 defenses, whose offense or defense has played the best, I think you could have argued last year that the Chiefs were the absolute best in the National Football League. Their run defense has been special this year. We looked it up. If you take the 7 teams that they have played and their starting running back, they have allowed 94 carries for 242 yards. The last 3 weeks, they held Alvin Kamara to 11 carries for 26 yards. Jordan Mason had 14 carries for 58 yards. And Alexander Madison had 14 carries for 15 yards. The Raiders ran the ball 3 straight times from first and goal from the 3-yard lines, and they did not score. Their run defense has not been good. Their run defense has not been elite. Their run defense and their defense has been the best in the National Football League. Now, I'm not telling you something that you didn't already know, but the fact that this defense lost the pieces that they did, whether it is by injury, free agency, etc. You don't have Charles Omenihu. You don't have L'Jarius Sneed. You had some injuries. You had some guys be banged up, and their defense has still continued playing at this level is incredible. So the number one thing I've learned is their defense really, really good. Second thing that I've learned so far through the first 8 weeks for the Kansas City Chiefs is we had a lot of debate about Chris Jones. Now, I know that no one wants to walk to the front of the line and take responsibility for their opinion, but I'm here every day. I saw the text line, and a lot of you did not want the Chiefs to re-sign Chris Jones. I know nobody wants to admit it now. Everybody was on the side of you have to pay him, but we all know that's not true. I hope that we have put those conversations to rest because Chris Jones has been worth every single penny. He is a first-team All-Pro. He is one of the best players in the entire National Football League. When they do the All-Pro list, and it's the All-22 basically, these are the 22 best players in the National Football League. Chris Jones' name is going to be on that list. He is a future Hall of Famer. He has been the best player on this defense. He is the catalyst to everything that they do. Chris Jones, at times, has been unstoppable on the defensive line. So we can talk about how great Patrick Mahomes is, and he's great. We can talk about Travis Kelce, and he is amazing. The best player on the Chiefs, as of right now, is Chris Jones. He has been that this entire season. He has been their most consistent player. He has been their most dominant player. He has been their most unstoppable player. Chris Jones has been worth every single penny, and it is a shame that any of us spent any amount of time debating whether or not the Chiefs should have paid him. Everything that Chris Jones said about his worth ended up being 100% accurate. There was a time there you guys thought Chris Jones was being crazy. You thought that Chris Jones was being greedy and being selfish for being asked to be compensated for what he is, the best. And eventually the Chiefs, they had to acknowledge it. And yeah, no, you was right. You're the best. No, he is. He was. He got his money, and he is playing up to it. It's one thing to get the money, to get the bag. It is another thing to get the bag and feel like you were still getting better and improving. And that's what it looks like Chris Jones is doing. He has been in the middle of everything positive they have done defensively. I wanted to at least acknowledge Chris Jones in these 5 things. The third thing that I've learned about the Chiefs over the first 8 weeks of the NFL season is nothing's changed. Have you ever asked somebody how they're doing in life, and they're like, the same? Like, hey, you still work at the same place? Yeah. Phone number's still the same? Yeah. You still work at the same job? Yeah. Everything's the same. Think about the conversations that we were having in March. Think about the conversations that we were having in August. Now think about the conversations that we are having at Halloween heading into the 1st of November. The teams that you thought were going to be good in the AFC are still good. The teams that you thought were going to be bad are still bad. The Chiefs are still running laps around all of the other teams that you thought were going to be legitimate contenders in the AFC. Baltimore is a really good team. Buffalo is a really good team. Houston, I think, has been pretty good this year. Kansas City, so far through the first half of the season, they have still proven that they are noticeably better than all of these other teams. We wouldn't even got to spend any time talking about the AFC West. It doesn't matter what Denver has done to try to catch up. It doesn't matter what Las Vegas has done to catch up. It doesn't matter what my Los Angeles Chargers have done to try to keep up. The Chiefs are still light years ahead of all of those other teams. Light years, I tell you. The Chargers are not keeping it close in this division. Neither are the Broncos, and certainly not the Raiders. They're embarrassing. So the first 3 things is their defense might be even better. Chris Jones has been worth every single penny, and nothing has changed. The Chiefs still got the same address. They're still married to the same woman. They still work at the same job. They still got the same phone number. They still hang out with the same friends at the same hangout spot. Nothing has changed about the Kansas City Chiefs. Nothing has changed about the division. Nothing has changed about their circumstances over the first 2 months of the season. We talk a lot about injuries in the NFL, and we should. Injuries matter. They are very, very important. We also love to throw out the term next man up. Well, not all injuries are created equal, right? Like injuries to your quarterback, injuries to your star wide receiver, injuries to Aiden Hutchinson. There are different kind of injuries that your team is going to rack up over the course of the year. The Chiefs got really bit by the injury bug over the last 2 months. They've really been bit. Their number 1 running back, hurt. Their best wide receiver, hurt. Their second best wide receiver, hurt. Juju Smith-Schuster, hurt. Their number 2 corner, out. I mean, if I made you a list or told you to make me a list of the 10 most important members on the Kansas City Chiefs and asked you to hand it to me before the game against the Baltimore Ravens, if we now look at that list, we would probably scratch off 6 of those names as they did not play in the last Chiefs win. And the fact that the Chiefs have been able to hold this thing together and still be the best team in the National Football League with no Isaiah Pacheco, with no Rashee Rice, with no Hollywood Brown, with no Jalen Watson last week, with Joshua Williams leaving with an injury, that's pretty impressive. The Chiefs right now, they are worse at, I would say, everything offensively that we thought they were going to be at the beginning of the season. They are worse at running the football because of the loss of Isaiah Pacheco. Their wide receiver room is not as good. They haven't gotten the production from tight end that we thought they were going to get at the very beginning of the season. They haven't gotten the same production from quarterback that we thought they were going to get. Every metric of their offense, they have been a little bit worse than we thought they were going to be. And they have still managed to be undefeated in the face of all of that because they have had guys step up in the face of all of the injuries. Next man up. And the last thing here before we play the Patrick Mahomes conversation is this is it at left tackle. They're not getting Cam Robinson. They're not getting another starter. This is it. The Chiefs have spent resources on left tackle. I will never tell you that they haven't. You spent a top 60 pick on Kingsley Suamataia. You spent a top 100 pick on Wanya Morris. This is what you have. So you know what? Andy Heck, Andy Reid, you guys better coach them up because this is what you have. You have Wanya Morris at left tackle, and you have Kingsley at left tackle, and you still have to figure out a way to manage the penalties from Jawan Taylor, who is 3rd in the National Football League this season with penalties, and you have gotten 14 penalties from either left tackle or right tackle. So I'm not saying that these are their Achilles heel and this is what is going to get them eliminated from the postseason. They have obviously found a way to manage it, and the hope is that Wanya gets better with more experience. We'll talk about Anthony Richardson and some of the quarterback problems in the rest of the league, but Wanya still doesn't have a season of starts under his belt. Kingsley is now finishing his first 2 months in the National Football League and got benched in game number 2, and we haven't seen or heard from him since. So the Chiefs are just more inexperienced at left tackle than just about every other contending team in the National Football League. So the same way that we have given grace to Xavier Worthy and you expect him to grow over the course of the next couple of months, I think you have to give that same grace to Wanya Morris. I think you have to give that same grace to Kingsley if they put him back in the starting lineup. But this is what they have at left tackle. Right now, left tackle, I would say, is their lone question mark. I don't think there's any other question mark around the team that is not centered around injuries. When are they going to get Isaiah Pacheco back? When are they going to get Hollywood Brown back? Every other question that they have is centered around a guy getting back healthy and being inserted back into the lineup. Nobody's hurt at left tackle. Guys just aren't playing well at left tackle. But we call this the extended preseason and we don't take these regular season games. Live or die, there's not too serious. Okay, that's perfectly fine. Let's have this conversation in a month. Let's have this conversation in 2 months. Where are they at left tackle, and are they better, and are they improved? Because what the Chiefs are going to have to do is they're going to have to scheme around that they are, I would say, below average right now at left tackle. They are below average at left tackle. They're not league average. They're great at almost every other area of the offensive line. They are currently below average at left tackle, and there are no reinforcements coming. They went out and they got reinforcements for that wide receiver room. They are going to get better at running back over the course of the next month. They are going to get healthier, you would presume. I don't think the injury bug is going to keep biting the Chiefs the way that it has over the course of the first 8 games of the season. They will be fine in a lot of areas. They have to continue to coach up left tackle. Earlier today, we got a chance to catch up with the quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes. Yesterday was his big fundraiser for his charity, 15 of the Mahomies. And our conversation this week started with, how did it go?
It went great, man. It's always great to see all the support that we have in the community here for Kansas City, and it was the biggest one we've had yet, and it just keeps getting bigger, and it really is truly remarkable to see that everybody wants to come out and support not only me but the community and everybody that I work with. So it was a lot of fun.
We obviously know a lot of your on-the-field goals. What is a charity goal that you have? I got a chance to go to Indianapolis, and Peyton Manning has a children's hospital in Indianapolis. You have the ability to do very similar things here in Kansas City. What are some charity goals that you have?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I have like an ultimate goal of where I want it to end up at. I just want to keep growing it and just keep impacting kids from underserved communities and kids that just want to follow their dreams. And if I can keep doing that, then I think I will be happy with whatever the end goal ends up becoming.
You've built the park that's pretty close to the plaza. Now that Sterling and your little ones are getting old enough, have you had a chance to take them down there so they could play at the park?
Yeah, they've been able to play at the park. They enjoyed it, and the hope is that I can keep doing stuff like that throughout the community. I mean, not only parks, but I've partnered with the Boys and Girls Club now, and we're going to try to help upgrade and keep those facilities at top-tier stuff. And so as long as we can keep improving stuff for kids to have the ability to go out there and follow their dreams and have fun and meet people and have new friends, I think that would be really cool to do.
You mentioned it a little bit about the growth you've seen in your charity over the years. How cool is it to see that community buy-in? It's not just your teammates, it's the community that has really come out to support your charity as well.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, that's the special thing about Kansas City is people care about each other and they want to improve everyone's lives. And so I think I went from like 407 people last year to almost 900 people this year. And so it just shows that this thing is growing, and it's not about just me. It's about the city of Kansas City and how special a place it is.
Right now we're talking to Patrick Mahomes here for a few minutes. You mentioned growth. We have seen Chiefs fans go to opposing venues and sort of take it over. I don't think we've seen anything like we just saw on Sunday. It felt like a college coming to take over another team's home venue. It looked like it was 70-30, maybe 80-20 inside Allegiant Stadium on Sunday.
No, it was really cool to see. I mean, all that red in the away stadium. I mean, the Chiefs fans always travel well, but I think it was even more this last week. And so hopefully we can keep doing that. Obviously, we got the next two games at home. But as we keep traveling to other away stadiums, I hope the Chiefs Kingdom keeps traveling like that because it definitely gives us an advantage.
A lot of people want your thoughts, I guess, on the trade of DeAndre Hopkins. It happened right after the last time that you and I got to speak. How rewarding is it? How exciting is it that you guys finally got him? You guys have kind of flirted with DeAndre Hopkins. You brought him in for a visit a couple years ago, and this time the deal came together.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. I mean, obviously a great football player, but I've built a great relationship with him, and he sees the football game. He sees the game of football a lot like I do, and you saw that in the little bit of opportunities that he got throughout the game this last game. And so I think as we continue to get him more and more involved in the offense, you're going to see how special of a football player he is, and he came here to win, and hopefully we can continue to do that. And he definitely has a good knack for getting open, which is going to help everybody on the football team.
You've communicated the respect that you have for him. How great is it that this is a guy that has never played with you before? I'm not sure what run-ins you guys had before him joining the team, but you can hear it in his voice that he has a great respect for you and what you guys as a team have been able to accomplish over the last few years.
Yeah, I mean, he's a great football player, and I think when you get guys that have played a lot of great football in their career, they want to continue to go for that next challenge. And for him, it's to win the Super Bowl, and that's everybody's goal at the end of the day whenever you play the game of football. And so I think he's excited to be here. I think if you watch the tape, he got open a lot this last week. And so I think seeing that on tape is going to give me the confidence to give him more and more opportunities to go out there and make plays.
A lot of conversation has been made about Andy's offense and how difficult it is to kind of learn on the fly. How difficult do you think it will be to kind of get him adjusted and get him acclimated into the offense in the middle of the season?
I mean, if it's anything like last week, I think it's gonna be easy for him. I mean, he's a very smart guy. He has a good understanding. He's played in multiple different offenses with multiple different quarterbacks, so he's a good understanding of how to just get himself open and be in the right spot. And I mean, we actually, I think last week we were even surprised by how fast he was picking up stuff. And so with a whole other week and an extra day, I think he's going to be fine to go out there and get a full amount of work in order to be a big part of this offense.
Patrick, certainly correct me if I'm wrong, but I just can't think of you guys having too many receivers like DeAndre Hopkins, a little bit bigger, more of a contested catch guy. Normally you guys like the 6'1", wiry kind of speedy guys, and that's not what he is. Is this a different receiver than you're kind of accustomed throwing to, or is there a comparison that you have?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a different receiver. I mean, he's kind of a one-of-one receiver when it comes to being able to catch the jump ball, being able to get himself open in space, be able to be one-on-one coverage. I mean, there's a reason that he's got all those All-Pros, and he's always been a great receiver. But I mean, he has a little bit of just kind of a mixture of a lot of guys that we have. I mean, Sammy Watkins, Juju, He's got the ability to win one-on-one like some other receivers that we had. I mean, it's hard to describe one guy because he's one of those type of receivers that only comes around once in a generation.
I saw that some of the other receivers were calling him Unc. I'm curious, how many more years in the league do you think it's going to be before there's going to be some young receiver that the Chiefs get and they're going to start calling you Unc?
It's not going to be many more. I mean, I'm still not very old. I mean, I'm only 29, but this is my 8th year in the NFL. So, I mean, a lot of these guys were in middle school or even low high school whenever I got in the NFL. So they've been seeing me play for a long time. So as the years go on here soon, they're going to be calling me Unc for sure.
I've got a couple of Halloween questions to ask you. Are you more of a Scream person or a Saw guy?
I'm more Scream. I'm not a big scary movie person at all in general, but I would probably say Scream.
Let's say that you got cast in a scary movie. Maybe you wouldn't even agree to do it, but let's say you got cast. How confident are you that you would make it to the end of the movie?
I'm pretty confident because I think just in general I have a good self-awareness and knowing where I'm at, but definitely, I don't know if I would win, but I would definitely make it the longest. But I feel like they're going to come get me, man. They're going to take me out. They know I'm going to be the guy that's leading us the right way.
Which one of you do you think would last longer in the movie, you or Travis? Because you've seen enough scary movies to know you can't have two athletes make it to the end of the movie. Somebody's not going to make it the long way. Who makes it the longest?
It's going to be 1,000% me because I'm going to be the one thinking. Travis is going to be the one that's just relying on instincts, and that's always how you get caught. By yourself, where the guy, the villain, or whatever can go get you.
Yeah, Travis seems like the one that he would make the suggestion to split up, and you can never split up in these movies.
He's going to be make the suggestion to split up. He's going to be like, let's go back in the house. I think if we go back in the house, we're going to be good. You know, Travis, man, he thinks on his feet, but sometimes it gets you in trouble.
All right, I have 5 candies I want to get your opinion on. I picked some of the, I don't want to say obscure candies, but maybe not the most popular candies. Let's start with Butterfinger. What's your verdict on Butterfinger?
They're all right.
Kit Kat.
I actually love Kit Kats. It's like one of my probably different candies I like than most people.
We actually had a guest on this week, or he said that Kit Kat was the best chocolate-based candy, so we have a 1-week suspension that he can't come on the show next week.
I don't know if it's the best chocolate-based, but I am a fan of the Kit Kat every now and then. It kind of throws a little change up on your whole candy repertoire.
All right, Mike and Ike's.
I'm not a big fan of those, no.
All right, how about Hot Tamales? Not
a big fan of hot tamales either.
All right, Twizzlers.
I can eat a Twizzler, but it's not like that's my go-to. If it's around, I'll grab one.
Do you like Twizzler pull and peel? I actually like pull and peel more than I like the original Twizzlers.
I probably would say pull and peel is a little bit better.
All right, where are you at with the Nerd Gummies? Have you had these new Nerd Gummies?
Yeah, we had them. They had them in training camp. I mean, I definitely got a couple of them. They're pretty good. I mean, I'm not the biggest candy guy myself, but I have a couple candies that I just like, and I'll eat those. But I'm more of like a chocolate chip cookie type guy. Like if I'm going for any type of like dessert type food.
All right, last one is Sweet Tarts. What's your verdict on Sweet Tarts?
I used to love them when I was young. My dad loved them, so I would eat them a lot when I was young. So I would say they're pretty up there for me. But I haven't had them in a while, actually, now that you say it.
Last couple questions here, Patrick, and I appreciate your time. I'm actually curious to get your opinion on this. You are somebody who your opinion, your voice matters. As you've sort of matured in your career, how do you make the determination of things that you want to speak up on?
I think it's just stuff that I feel like at that moment in time is something that I believe I need to speak up and use my platform. But, I mean, it's such a hard thing to decide and make those choices because it's not going to only impact you but your family as well and everyone that's around you. So you have to kind of weigh all those decisions and then decide if it's the right time to make your voice known.
You obviously know the climate that we're in, and athletes are speaking up just almost every day. Do you ever feel a pressure to speak up? Do you ever feel like an outside force that people are sort of looking for you to give your thoughts on certain things?
I don't know if it's necessarily a pressure. I mean, I understand the platform that I have, and I understand if I wanted to or not, what I say is gonna kind of be out there for everyone to see, and it could impact other people and how they think. But I think my goal is just to try to be the best person that I can be at the end of the day. And even though it might not be 100% with everybody and what they agree, I'm going to try to do whatever I can to make a positive impact in the world at the end of the day.
What are your Halloween plans?
Sterling really wanted to be a flamingo, so we have a whole type of flamingo and zoo animals type thing going on. That's our favorite animal, I guess. I guess a flamingo is an animal, and so we're doing that, and we'll go around trick-or-treating a little bit and hopefully get a lot of good candy and not let Sterling and Bronze eat too much of it.
You've accomplished a lot of great challenge in your career, making sure that your young daughter doesn't eat a lot of candy on Halloween. That might be your toughest feat.
Oh, yeah, I think it's going to be my son. My son, like, I don't know how he can just, like, sense it. Even if he hasn't had any type of sweet before, the moment he, like, smells it, he's like, I like that. So I got to try to keep him from getting all the candies and the desserts and whatever he gets for Halloween.
Well, I think we learned that you were not going to be giving Bronze any Mike and Ikes this year. That is Patrick Mahomes joining us on the show today as we get you ready for Monday Night Football. Patrick, man, great stuff, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man.
That is the quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes. If you missed any part of that conversation, be sure to check it out on the podcast page or on the app. Coming up on the other side, speaking of Patrick Mahomes, he, his wife, and the other part owners of the KC Current, they have inquired about bringing a WNBA team to Kansas City. We'll talk about it. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Protect yourself. Get the updated COVID-19 vaccine and your flu shot at the same time at Hy-Vee. That's right, you can save time and get your COVID-19 and flu shot at the same time. Schedule your updated COVID-19 vaccine and flu shot online today. Or just stop by any Hy-Vee pharmacy whenever it's convenient for you. No appointment necessary. Plus, when you get your flu shot at Hy-Vee, earn a 20-cent fuel saver. Your Hy-Vee pharmacy is here to help you and your family stay healthy. Some restrictions apply.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at bluekc.com.
The IRS is ramping up collection, and if you owe back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, listen carefully. Before it's too late, check your eligibility for the Fresh Start program still offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax problems. Call our special hotline number now and find out in minutes if you qualify for these life-changing debt reduction programs. Business or personal, if you're in a payment plan with no end in sight, have unfiled tax returns, under audit, have a wage or bank levy, or finally just want to know your options, call the experts at Republic Tax Relief and stop collections immediately. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau with a 5-star rating from Yelp, this veteran-owned company has the fight you need to take on the IRS. Don't go at it alone. Call their hotline number now, 800-406-1794. That's 800-406-1794. Find out if you qualify today. Call 800-406-1794 or go to republictaxrelief.com.
You hear that? That's the sound of another year counting down. Another year missing your revenue goal. Another year wondering why your marketing isn't more effective. Another year worried about next year. The clock is ticking, but you still have time. Time to contact the experts at Scale Marketing. Scale Marketing is a full-service marketing agency who is expert in lead generation and revenue growth. How expert? Our clients see an average of 20% growth in the first year alone, with sustained growth from there. It's all part of our process. From your traditional marketing to social media to paid search, we'll take a forensic approach, digging deep to find the root problems in your marketing strategy. Then we'll fix them fast. At Scale Marketing, we can't stop the clock, but we can change your company's future. Find out how you can make your marketing budget work harder and drive more revenue. Contact us at scalemarketing.com. That's scalemarketing.com.
It takes a lot to prepare for game day as a dedicated fan, and preparing the perfect tailgate meal might be most important of all. That's why Hellmann's Real Mayonnaise is the MVP. Hellmann's Mayonnaise is the secret to bring out the rich and creamy taste to all your game day dishes, from buffalo chicken dip to your favorite sub sandwich and everything in between. So give it a try, and mayo game day be delicious with Hellmann's Real Mayonnaise. Shop at your local Walmart, Kroger, or grocery store, and add some extra deliciousness to your game day dishes this football season.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at BlueKC.com.
Join 96.5 The Fan and Bud Light for the Fans Football Show with Mitchell Schwartz or Sean Barber and Jay Binkley every Friday this football season starting at 6 at participating Buffalo Wild Wings locations. Enjoy $5 talls, prizes, and Chiefs gear. For a list of locations, go to 965thefan.com. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Traffic brought to you by Metro Ford, online at kcmetroford.com. Got a stalled car in the downtown loop that is stopping traffic eastbound 70 just past Broadway Boulevard. That is closing the right lane. Traffic heavy in North Kansas City as well. Northbound lanes of 35 out of the downtown area and through 210 Highway. Also looking heavy eastbound 70 over the 435 exchange. Want more from your dealership at Metro Ford? Every new vehicle comes with a lifetime limited powertrain warranty. Family owned, just 10 minutes from downtown and packed with unbeatable value. Drive smarter only at Metro Ford, online at kcmetroford.com. I'm Lori Pearson for 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Chiefs fans, it's Nick Bolton, MIZ. Welcome to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, let's talk about some breaking news that came across the desk earlier today. So the co-owners of the Current and also Patrick Mahomes and his wife Brittany, they have had a meeting with the WNBA about the possibility of bringing an expansion team to the league. So the WNBA, they are expanding to 14 teams. They are adding Golden State and also Toronto. So they are going to be the 13th and the 14th franchises. The league also wants to expand to 2 more teams to get it to 16 teams. They are in the process of, I think there's about 10 to maybe 8 to 10 cities that are in conversations of expanding to be the 15th and 16th WNBA franchise. You would have to think that Kansas City would be a pretty desirable market. It is a market that has already shown you great success with women's sports. It is the only city in the country, the only city in the world that has a venue that its sole purpose or primary purpose is for women's sports, and it does really, really well. It is also a market that enjoys basketball. So there are a lot of, I think, positives. You also think about the names and people that you are associating yourself with. And if Patrick Mahomes is on board, there is a certain level of star power and cachet that you bring to your league that is very attractive if you are in the way of expanding. I do not think that the NBA is coming to Kansas City in our lifetime. I think that time passed a long time ago. But I do think there is a very realistic chance that Kansas City gets a WNBA franchise. There are a couple of questions. I would say the biggest question is, where are they going to play? Are they going to build a new arena, or are they going to play at Silverstein Eye Center, Independence Event Center, whatever you still call it? Because those are the only options. I do not think they are playing in the T-Mobile Center. I think they could play a couple of games there. Sure, Caitlin Clark comes to town. Angel Reese comes to town. Could they move to a bigger venue to accommodate people? Sure. But I don't think that they are playing their primary home games at T-Mobile Center. I think they are going to pick a smaller, a more intimate environment. We looked this up earlier. The average attendance this past year of a WNBA game was a little below 10,000. So let's say that they get between 8 to 10,000 people on average. Sure, they'll do better than that sometimes. They'll do worse than that sometimes. That's how an average works. I just don't think the T-Mobile Center makes a lot of sense then for them if that's the case. Is Patrick Mahomes and his team, are they invested enough to build a new stadium for the WNBA team? Because that changes things. Are you now going to build a stadium that they house the WNBA team? We're also going to use it as a concert venue, the way that they use Silverstein Eye Center. Are you also going to use it where you have regional tournaments, volleyball tournaments, basketball tournaments, indoor soccer? It can have a multiple purpose use. They're obviously very heavily invested in the area where the current stadiums. And there's a little bit of room over there that if you want to build another arena that's smaller, I think it could work. You got a casino right there, North Kansas City right there. They're building housing developments over there. I think it makes a lot of sense for Patrick Mahomes and for the group that owns the Current that if you want to buy in even more into women's sports, this is the time to do it. There is a growth in the WNBA that is happening right now, and I don't want to say it's the ground floor because it's been around long enough, but I really think that we are in the middle of a revolution. People feel differently about women's sports now than they did 5-10 years ago. Caitlin Clark is a major part of that. I also just think that America treats women different now than they did 10, 20 years ago. That I think Kansas City is a perfect market to add another women's sports team. And I think Kansas City, by and large, would be a great supporter and a great addition to the WNBA.
First and foremost, the utmost respect for Patrick Mahomes, because a lot of people, when they talk, they don't back it up. Patrick Mahomes this offseason, I think it was the Time 100 or 120, whatever the Time magazine thing he was at. I can pull the audio. You know what he said at that? We need to continue to support women's sports because it is the future. He was the part owner of the Current at the time. He and his wife are now trying to bring a WNBA franchise to Kansas City. Like, that is the news that's reported. So, like, it is easy to talk about doing these things. Patrick Mahomes is about it. So I respect Patrick Mahomes beyond belief for backing up what he believes, what he said at the Time 100 celebration. Secondarily, I think if this happens, the ownership group has plans to bring a new arena in some form or fashion to the city. That's what they had. That was their long-term vision when they had the Current. Their long-term vision was not sharing a stadium with the Monarchs. Their long-term vision was not sharing a stadium with Sporting Kansas City. No, they wanted to build a soccer-specific women's stadium, and they did it. If they were to get a WNBA franchise in Kansas City, I would imagine they have the same vision. So the question then becomes the where. Because I agree with you. Temporarily, cable dominance fine. Temporarily, municipal's probably okay. Big games, you can go to T-Mobile, you can make it work, and I don't think there'd be any problem. But that cannot be the 3, 4, 5-year plan for a new WNBA franchise in Kansas City. There is going to be a new arena if this bid happens and they get the team. So then the question becomes, where's that arena going to be? You mentioned the Current stadium. I don't think if you are a person who owns and operates T-Mobile, you want any part of an arena right there. That is too close. It's cannibalizing itself. Why? That's too close. So I think the question then becomes, where does it go?
Yeah, but I think, though, if we're talking about cannibalizing it, I don't know how that's any different than the fact that the Midland is right around the corner, and both seem to operate very well.
The Midland's different because T-Mobile can have sports or concerts, which a new arena would also be able to. The Midland can never be like, hey, let's have the Conference USA tournament over there.
Yeah, you're right. But I would say, though, the level of artists that you were getting to go to the T-Mobile Center, that is not what we think that this is going to fit this. Drake is not performing at this 8,000-seat arena, or Justin Timberlake that comes here in a couple of weeks. So I hear what you're saying. I don't know if that necessarily would be the thing. I'm also looking at it right now. The more and more I look at the Independence Event Center, I also don't think that's big enough either. Do you know what the attendance, or I guess what the capacity is for a Mavericks game? I just looked it up. A sellout for the Mavericks is less than 6,000 fans.
Really?
A sellout for the Mavericks. I'm sitting here looking at it. Mavericks set a franchise attendance record. The Mavericks announced a sellout standing room only crowd. It was 5,858 fans. That is not enough for the WNBA.
Nope.
It's not even close to enough for the WNBA. Not even on a bad night, that's not enough. So I'm not even sure if Independence Event Center, even in a short-term temporary aspect, I'm not sure if Independence Event Center is big enough to do this. If they are going to do this, then I think they are going to have to build a specific arena, or they're just going to have to play at the T-Mobile Center, which I actually don't think works for them. I just think T-Mobile's too big of an arena, and I think if you were going to do what is, let's call the WNBA what it is. And I enjoy watching the WNBA. It is a very, very niche sport. I think why the Current works is they have built a stadium that really fits the experience of where you are. Their stadium is incredible. It is very, very local, and it fits. I think that's what they're going to have to do if they're really committed to making this WNBA thing work. if they really want to make it work in Kansas City, I think you either build a stadium that's right across from the current and you just make this a really progressive area. We've got the women's basketball court here. We've got the women's soccer stadium here. We are about women empowerment. Or you build a really, really nice stadium out in Johnson County. You build a really, really nice stadium out on 135th or somewhere in that area. I don't know my Kansas real estate the way that you do. You build a really, really nice venue over there that seats 11,000 people.
The Kansas side does, just like based on like what they're looking for, I imagine, I think Kansas makes a lot of sense. Like maybe not, they're not going to come out and say that there's like 7 steps ahead of that, but it would not surprise me if one day we get an alert. Patrick Mahomes, Brittany Mahomes, I believe it's the Long family or the other owners of the KC Current are breaking ground on X location in Kansas for the new WNBA arena. I think that is coming if the WNBA comes through. But in the short term, I think it would probably have to be municipal. It seems like it's the most likely if this were to come through.
We can keep talking about this on the other side. I am very interested in this, the fact that Patrick Mahomes and his team, they have reached out to the WNBA. I mean, the reports are that they have met with the WNBA. So they're having legitimate conversations about the WNBA and bringing a team to Kansas City. I am for it, and I really, really think that Kansas City would be a very, very strong addition to the WNBA. Keep it right here, it's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for K-State Athletics, 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Protect yourself. Get the updated COVID-19 vaccine and your flu shot at the same time at Hy-Vee. That's right, you can save time and get your COVID-19 and flu shot at the same time. Schedule your updated COVID-19 vaccine and flu shot online today. Or just stop by any Hy-Vee pharmacy whenever it's convenient for you. No appointment necessary. Plus, when you get your flu shot at Hy-Vee, earn a 20-cent fuel saver. Your Hy-Vee pharmacy is here to help you and your family stay healthy. Some restrictions apply.
The nightmare stories are all too common with home services companies. Shoddy workmanship, subpar materials, or everyone's favorite, getting halfway done with the job and taking a 2-month break. So, if you need to replace your windows, siding, or doors, you could spend hours online researching companies. Or you can start with the perfect company and call Thermo King. With over 25 years selling and installing energy-efficient windows, James Hardie siding, and the most beautiful entry doors available, Thermo King will make your home project hassle-free and easy. Their triple glass replacement windows will save you money on your energy bills. Their James Hardie siding will last decades, and their entry doors will make your guests say, "Holy cow!" Right now, you can save thousands on replacement windows, siding, or a new entryway door. Great financing plans are available to make paying for your project easy. Get the process started today. 888-KING-WIN, or online at thermokingwindows.com.
I love fall weather. The crisp air, the falling leaves, until someone in my family catches a chill outside. Luckily, Kohl's has deals on all things cozy. I got 20% off comfy layers and warm denim, $10 off because I spent over $50, and earned Kohl's Cash. Now we're ready to bundle up and get back out there, thanks to Kohl's. Select styles. Offers end November 3rd. Some exclusions apply. See store or kohls.com for details.
Hey, Chiefs Kingdom, as the official whiskey sponsor of the NFL, it's not a kickoff without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. And that's why we've built the Crown Royal Rig, an absurdly awesome 18-wheeler delivering the generous spirit to stadiums and tailgates across the country. Follow the Royal Rig on its journey from city to city, bringing together local cuisine, NFL legends, and the opportunity to pack a purple bag for charity and win tickets to Super Bowl 59. Visit crownroyal.com for rules and more. Please drink responsibly.
After you use Bounce Dryer sheets and realize how fresh, soft, less wrinkled, and less staticky your laundry can be, you'll put a sheet on your every time. Like those socks that smell like they've been through a marathon. Put a sheet on it. Or that blanket that's got wrinkles on its wrinkles. Put a sheet on it. Maybe even your chatty coworker who keeps distracting you. Okay, Bounce Dryer sheets can't do it all. But for fresher, softer, better laundry, put a sheet on it with Bounce.
Okay, everyone, what did you think of the chocolate bar?
It's too chewy.
Feels kind of chalky.
Too much nougat.
I need to go brush my teeth.
Business is booming for Steph's small marketing research firm.
After all these focus groups, there's only one conclusion. I need more researchers.
And she's way too busy researching
Does this have peanuts?
to waste time researching resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Chiefs coverage is brought to you by Comfort Systems Heating and Cooling, serving all of KC.
At Comfort Systems Heating and Cooling, we turn icy cold rooms into toasty retreats. Comfort Systems is your winter rescue team. Comforting people is what we do. Comfort Systems is right for you. MyComfortSystems.com.
Brought to you by Gomer's. 5 locations in the KC Metro or online at Gomers.com.
Stock up for your tailgate or Halloween party with Gomer's. 5 great locations in the Kansas City Metro. Voted KC's #1 liquor store in Kansas City again for 2024. Excellent in price, selection, and service. 5 locations in the KC Metro and online at Gomers.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
In a stalled car blocking traffic in the downtown loop, eastbound 70 just past Broadway Boulevard. Heavy into the downtown loop via northbound 35 and the southbound lanes of Overland Parkway after you get off of 435 on the Metro Southwest side. I'm Lori Pearson for 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
We were talking about the possibility of Kansas City getting a WNBA team. Patrick Mahomes, his wife, and the co-owners of the Current have met with the WNBA about Kansas City becoming one of the expansion teams. Someone on the text line asked, C-Dot, which one of these or what size arenas do the other 14 WNBA teams play in? So just to give you a kind of an example, the Chicago Sky with Angel Reese, they play in the same stadium as DePaul. So they do not play in the United Center where the Bulls play. They play in a separate, smaller arena. The Las Vegas Aces, the Las Vegas team, they play in Mandalay Bay. So they do not play in the T-Mobile arena where the big UFC fights, where the big boxing matches are. They play in a separate, smaller arena. The Connecticut Sun, the WNBA team, they play in the Mohegan Sun. They play in a casino. So a majority of these teams, I didn't go through every single team in the WNBA, but a majority of these teams already play in a smaller venue. I mean, ideally, Rob, to your point, there is a smaller venue. It's just old. If this was any other city, they would just play at Municipal. But I don't know if they're going to play at Municipal, or there would be a college that would make sense because it's big enough, kind of like with the Chicago Sky. Oh, well, the infrastructure is already here. We don't have to build a new stadium for this team. Let's just play where there's a D1 team in the city, like what's happened in Chicago. So I think that's going to end up being some of the challenges for them, I guess, in terms of growth and where they're going to potentially play if we even get a team.
I mean, let's just kicking the can down the road. If they were to do Municipal, which makes the most sense, that building would need massive renovation.
100%.
Right? Like,
and maybe that's the plan. Maybe the plan is we already have all the infrastructure. We will just pump in $100 million into renovating Municipal Auditorium and make it more modern, and then that's where the team is going to play. That's a great option if that's what they want to do. It's already there. It's already downtown. We already know where it is. I mean, that'd be a great place to have a WNBA team. Are they willing to put that level of finances into Municipal, though?
Here's the $1 million question, and possibly $1 billion question. Wouldn't that need a vote? Like, I know we're like 5 and 6 steps down the road, but to renovate Municipal, to make it the stadium for the KC whatever, was called the WNBA.
We never voted on the Current. I mean,
yeah, but a renovation to a city building is different than building a new building. I don't think you can just be like, hey, the Long family and the Mahomes family decided, yo, we gutting this and we have the money. I would imagine, since that houses other city and civic events, that it is going to have to go to some sort of vote. Whether that be like the city council or like at large, that probably is coming down the pike eventually.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. I do want to get your opinion here before we sign off to the day. Do you think that today is the last game of the baseball season, or do you think that this series is going back to Los Angeles? If this series goes back to Los Angeles, the Yankees are actually in a pretty decent spot now. You have to do something that no team has won before, but the pressure 100% shifts on the Los Angeles Dodgers of you cannot blow this thing if this series goes back to LA. No World Series has ever gone back to the team that was up 3-0 before. Every team has lost before Game 6. So the Yankees avoided the sweep, but now this is where the gentleman sweep usually comes in. This is where the Dodgers win in 5. This has happened in every single World Series of which the team has been up 3-0. So I think the Dodgers win today. I just think it's very obvious that they are a better team than the New York Yankees. I think that has been proven over the first 4 games of this series. I think we see more of that later tonight.
So here's the thing. I agree with you. I think the Dodgers are the better team. I think the Dodgers are still winning this series. I'm not calling for some epic, monumental collapse. But, man, the pitching advantage is really in the Yankees' favor tonight. Garrett Cole is better than Jack Flaherty. And sometimes it's that simple. And maybe the Dodgers win, but I think they're getting back on a flight to going out to Dodger Stadium. Now, I think once at Dodger Stadium, it's going to be just a coronation and a celebration, and Game 6 is going to get ugly. But I think Yankee Stadium tonight is going to be not the last game of the baseball season. I think we get one more game.
Okay. We'll see. I took a small
tonight,
bet on the Dodgers.
If you believe you're right, tonight's the night to bet on them.
I took a small bet on the Dodgers.
Because you're never getting plus money again on the Dodgers.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Never.
For the rest of the season, so you kind of have to take it. No, I took a small bet on them. I lost my no-sweat parlay yesterday, so they give you your bonus bet. So I just went and rolled it over today to bet on the Dodgers. And
you got a Freeman home run tonight?
I don't know. I'm not really a home run guy
I'm just scared.
In that way.
He's white hot at hitting them.
No,
he can't stop hitting.
You know what? If you want my hot take today, I think today Bronny scores. I think Bronny scores today.
Back in Akron, yeah.
They are in Cleveland. I think he plays today, and I think Bronny scores today. I'd bet on it actually. I think he scores.
The problem is the Cavs are good. You're going to put Bronny hadn't really played against good teams yet. It's been like a lot of mop-up duty.
No, that's fair.
I mean, the Cavs are undefeated. I know that.
He got in a little bit that first game. He got in a little bit.
They're up by 20.
He got in a little bit.
They're up by 20.
He took a shot, too. He got in and shot a 3. He got in and was going to let it fly.
Well, if there's leather on the ball, let it rip.
Oh, yeah, you got to. Hold on. If I know I'm not going to play a line, you put me in the game, I'm shooting. What do you think I'm about to do? I didn't come here to play defense. You think I came here to do? Think I came in here to defend? No, I came in here to let it fly. I'm letting that thing go. That's what I'm doing. All right, I had a lot of fun today. Hopefully you guys did as well. Carrington here, Rob here. Who we hand things off to? Bink?
No, we got that betting show with Alex Gold first.
Oh, Alex up next. Then Bink, the double dip. All right, we'll catch you guys tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Watch the weather tonight. Should be bad. That's what they're saying at least. Take care of yourself. It's the draft.